Chapter 1090. Tai True Demon in the Real God Territory. In an ancient palace, an expert opened his eyes and muttered, "This is the aura of the Great Seal of Life." Didn't the Great Seal of Life disappear? It has appeared again. Looks like this is my chance. Once I get the Great Seal of Life and take control of the Great Seal of Life, my power will increase, and I will charge toward the peak of Tai True God. On the peak of Gu Mountain in the Real God Territory, an elder with a white beard opened his eyes slowly. The aura of the Great Seal of Life. I did not expect the Great Seal of Life to appear in the lower plane. This is really surprising. If I can get the Great Seal of Life, I can become a lord in the Real God Territory. Many powerful auras were awakened because of the aura of the Great Seal of Life. The experts in the Real God Territory started to move. They were powerful, but they could not descend with their real bodies. However, they could use their clones to descend to the lower plane and search for the Great Seal of Life. For the experts in the Real God domain, the Common People's Seal was a treasure. If they could obtain the Common People's Seal, their strength would increase tremendously. Almost no one could resist such a temptation. Even the super experts in the Real God Territory could not resist such a temptation. The Common People Seal was a true treasure left behind by the Common People Emperor. The Common People Emperor started his cultivation from the lower world and became a Tai Real God step by step. Moreover, he was a super powerful existence in the true God domain. He was once an invincible expert in the true God domain. Although he had fallen in the end, he had left behind a glorious battle record. Countless ferocious demons had died in his hands. There was even a ferocious demon that had surpassed the Tai Real God level. It was also because of that battle that the Common People's Seal was severely injured and was eventually besieged to death. Since then, the Common People's Seal had disappeared without a trace. However, no one had expected that after a few years, the chi of the Common People's Seal would reappear and it would fall into the lower world. Because of the aura of the Great Seal of Life, countless experts started to move. They broke through the space barrier and entered the ancient desolate land with their clones. Of course, there were many experts who sent their subordinates and disciples to the lower plane. However, there were more who used their clones to descend to the lower plane. Of course, there were many who used their clones to descend to the lower plane. Of course, there were many who used their clones to descend to the lower plane. However, there were not many people like that. After all, it was very dangerous to seal one's cultivation and descend to the lower plane with one's clones. Hence, there were very few people who used this method to descend to the lower plane. At that moment, Yang Hanwu did not know that the fact that he possessed the Great Seal of Life had been exposed to the whole Real God Territory. The ancient desolate land had become the focus of the experts in the Real God Territory. However, to Yang Hanwu, even if he knew about it, he would not care much about it. So what if they were experts in the Real God Territory? So what if they descended from the Real God Territory? They would not be able to unleash their strongest power. After their cultivation was suppressed, they might not be his match. Moreover, if he used the Great Seal of Life, he might be able to kill all of them. He might even be able to borrow their power to completely control the Great Seal of Life. Once he truly controlled the Great Seal of Life, his power would definitely reach an unimaginable level. If he could truly refine the Great Seal of Life and merge it with his own inner world, breaking through to the Great Emperor realm would be a piece of cake. He might even be able to break through to the invincible Great Emperor realm. In the ancient desolate land, Yang Hongwu's face was solemn. Although he had killed Zhu Xiaotian and the others, he realized that there was a sudden change in the heavens and earth. All of this was within his expectations. Of course, if he hadn't entered the Life Seal, he would have perished together with Zhu Xiaotian and his two brothers. However, at this moment, trouble came. Demon aura, heaven aura. All of a sudden, even Zetian's aura appeared. Yang Hongwu's mood fell to the bottom. Damn it, he was too unlucky. Not only did he not obtain anything here, he was cursed and did not obtain the immortal talisman. He did not even obtain the inheritance of the immortal true God. He did not obtain the origin energy either. Instead, he exposed his identity and the existence of the Great Seal of Life. On the other hand, Zetion's aura became abnormally strong. Could it be that Zetion had already broken through? After Yang Hongwu came out of the Great Seal of Life, he immediately set up a large formation. Combined with the formation of the immortal True God's Hall, the entire hall was hidden. After all, it was the place of the immortal True God's inheritance. Although it was destroyed by a powerful force, it was still very powerful. If one was not strong enough and did not pay attention, they would not be able to discover this formation. The previous changes caused a huge shock to the entire Sky Dragon sect. The entire mountain collapsed. This was a huge blow to the Sky Dragon sect. Of course, at this moment, Yang Hongwu did not care about all of this. He did not care about the Sky Dragon sect. He was in a very dangerous situation. The appearance of Zetion was unexpected to Yang Hongwu. What made Yang Hongwu even more worried was that he felt other auras. These unfamiliar auras were quite strong. Although Yang Hongwu did not know who these auras were, he was sure that these guys like Zhu Shaotian and the others were probably from the True God domain. The experts in Real God region were all Tai real gods. Previously, the reason why he could kill Zhu Shaotian and his brothers was because of the Undying Demon Tree. Without the Undying Demon Tree, he really didn't have the confidence to kill Zhu Shaotian and his brothers. Yang Hongwu, come out, Zetion said coldly. Now that I've broken through, I'm no longer on the same level as you. Originally, you and I were mortal enemies. I wanted to kill you because killing you would allow my cultivation to advance further. However, your strength is too weak now. I won't feel any sense of accomplishment even if I kill you. For me, it's meaningless. Such a weak enemy doesn't interest me at all. Therefore, I won't kill you. However, there's something on your body that I must obtain. That's the Life Great Seal. You have the chi of the Life Great Seal on your body. As long as you give me the Life Great Seal, I'll let you go, and I'll even let you rule the entire 9 heavens and 10 earths. Chapter 1091. The real origin. Zetion's words infuriated Yang Hongwu. This guy is really a bastard for being so arrogant. However, he had to admit that Zetion's current strength was indeed very strong. Zetion was no match for him at all. After all, Zetion's strength was already very strong. When he was still in the Great Emperor realm, he was already very strong. At that time, Yang Hongwu might not be his match. Now that Zetion's strength had improved and reached the Tai True Demon realm, Yang Hongwu was even less of a match for him. However, there was still a chance now, and that was his true demon incarnation. The Taishang demon was also here. If he could merge with his incarnation at the crucial moment, his strength would definitely break through to the Great Emperor realm. Once he broke through to the Great Emperor realm, he would have the power to fight. However, it was very difficult to merge with his incarnation. Boom! Seeing that Yang Hongwu did not appear, Zetion snorted coldly. A terrifying demonic aura exploded and condensed into a huge fist. With a fierce strike, the entire space shattered and turned into nothingness. Terrifying and powerful. Zetion's strength had reached a terrifying level. Yang Hongwu's face was very solemn. Original body, it seems like we have no choice. If we don't merge, we won't have a chance at all. Although the Taishang demon did not want to merge with his incarnation, once he merged, it meant that his true demon incarnation would disappear. Although he was Yang Hongwu's incarnation, now that he had his own consciousness, he naturally did not want to disappear. However, if the original body wanted to merge with his incarnation, he had no way to resist. Moreover, once the original body died, his incarnation would not have a good ending. Therefore, merging with the original body was his mission and his final outcome. At this crucial moment, Zetion's strength was already very strong. If the original body could not break through to the Great Emperor realm, there would be no chance at all. Although Zetion hadn't found Yang Hongwu yet, it wouldn't take long for her to find Yang Hongwu's location. After all, Zetion's strength was not to be underestimated. Moreover, Zetion had a powerful helper and that was the heavenly Tao of Jyotian Shidi. In the eyes of the heavenly Tao, Yang Hongwu was his greatest enemy, and Zetian was a tool he created to kill Yang Hongwu. As long as he killed Yang Hongwu, he would be truly safe. Only then would he be able to surpass his current level and reach a higher level, breaking through to the Great Path realm. To the heavenly Tao, controlling a celestial region and a plane was their innate ability. However, the heavenly Tao also needed to improve and become stronger. There were countless heavenly Taos. There were strong and weak heavenly Taos in different worlds and planes. Above the heavenly Taos, there was the Great Tao. The Great Tao was the true ruler. Jyotian Shidi was, in fact, just a mid-level plane and a mid-level universe. There are truly more powerful universes and planes. Those more powerful universes had Great Tao. That was the true supreme law, the supreme control of a supreme being. As the heavenly Tao of Jyotian Shidi, if he wanted to become a stronger existence and expand his universe, he needed to constantly improve. However, in every plane, there would always be something that was beyond his control. For example, a long time ago, the demonic dragon was an existence that was beyond the control of the heavenly Tao. Back then, if the demonic dragon hadn't appeared as the heavenly Tao of Jyotian Shidi, he would have broken through the shackles and truly devoured all the power in Jyotian Shidi. He would have become a supreme expert and could break through to the Great Path. Unfortunately, the appearance of the demonic dragon disrupted all his plans and injured him, almost causing him to die. Although he could still control the power from Jyotian Shidi, he lost control of the origin source of Jyotian Shidi. As a result, his strength was greatly reduced. If he was at his peak, he could even kill his way into the true God territory. However, he was now trapped in Jyotian Shidi and couldn't even leave. Moreover, his strength was greatly reduced, and the power he could control was also very limited. It was impossible to even deal with a small, primordial, true God realm warrior. There was no way he could kill him. The person who had reduced him to such a state was none other than the demonic dragon. That was the person he hated to the core. However, at the critical moment of his recovery, there was an accident. Another person with the same physique as the demonic dragon had appeared. This person was Yang Hongwu. Because he had discovered Yang Hongwu's existence, the heavenly Tao had saved Yang Hongwu when he defeated his old enemy, Zetian. Moreover, he had nurtured Zetian. Of course, Yang Hongwu didn't know all of this. Zetian didn't know either. If Zetian knew that he was a pawn of the heavenly Tao, who knew how he would feel? Zetian was very conceited now. Although Zetian had been bedeviled and had been defeated countless times by Yang Hongwu, he also had his own pride. If he knew that he was just a pawn, who knew what he would do to the heavenly Tao? However, the heavenly Tao wasn't that easy to provoke. Since he had nurtured someone like Zetian, he naturally had his own means. As for Yang Hongwu, he already knew that he was someone the heavenly Tao couldn't tolerate. Even if he knew all of this, he wouldn't care. The path of cultivation had always been one that defied the heavenly Tao. Only by truly breaking the shackles of the heavenly Tao could one become a true supreme expert. Now, Yang Hongwu only had the hope of survival if he overturned the heavenly Tao. If the heavenly Tao didn't die, he couldn't break through and live a good life. Yes, there's no other way. Yang Hongwu sighed. It's just that the success rate of fusion like this isn't high at all. It's less than 10%. Yang Hongwu knew that the success rate of fusion at this time was too low. He wasn't strong enough, and neither was the Taishang demon. Moreover, it was at a critical moment. Without the power of the origin, it would be even more difficult. Originally, Yang Hongwu planned to wait until his and the Taishang demon's strength reached the peak of the Great Emperor realm. When they could break through to the Tai, true God realm, they would then start the fusion. At that time, they could break through to the Tai, true God realm in one go. But now everything had changed. The plan couldn't keep up with the changes. They could only force the fusion. If they didn't, they would probably die here. This wasn't what Yang Hongwu wanted. Buzz. At this time, There was a sound in Yang Hongwu's mind. A strong thought appeared. Yang Hongwu realized that this thought was actually pointing him in the right direction. Chapter 1092. Mysterious thoughts. Although he knew the direction, it was still troublesome. The problem now was how to enter the depths of the immortal shrine. This was just a sub-shrine of the immortal shrine. It would be quite difficult to enter the main shrine of the immortal shrine. Heavenly Demon, is there any way to enter and escape the detection of Zetian and Tian Dao? Yang Hongwu couldn't think of a way, so he asked the Taishang Demon. Maybe he had a way. There's a way, but if it fails, it will cause great harm, the Taishang Demon said. What is it? Yang Hongwu thought for a while and couldn't think of a way, so he asked. I will lure them away. This way, I can take the opportunity to enter the immortal shrine. However, if I don't enter in time, I will probably be devoured by Zetian, the Taishang Demon said. Yang Hongwu frowned. This was indeed a huge problem. Zetian was too powerful now. Although the Taishang Demon was of a higher level than Zetian in terms of bloodline, the strength of Zetian was much stronger than the Taishang Demon. Once the Taishang Demon was caught by Zetian, there was no way he could escape from his hands. It was absolutely possible that he would be devoured. The Taishang Demon was also very important to Yang Hongwu. The Taishang Demon was his true demon incarnation. Once the true demon incarnation was devoured, although he wouldn't die, he would be seriously injured and his strength would be greatly reduced. By then, it would be impossible for him to break through the great Emperor realm. Such a blow would be huge. By then, even if Yang Hongwu obtained the origin of Jiuqian Shidi, he wouldn't be able to make up for this loss. Therefore, when he heard the Taishang Demon's suggestion, Yang Hongwu needed to seriously consider it. How confident are you? Yang Hongwu looked at the Taishang Demon and asked. Less than 30%. The Taishang Demon sighed. Zetian is no longer the same as before. His realm has reached the Tai true demon realm. His strength is very terrifying. Although I am much stronger than before, I am nothing compared to Zetian. The gap between the Tai true demon realm and the great emperor realm is too big. They can't be compared at all. This is simply a world of difference. If I can find the real immortal shrine within 30 breaths, enter it, and summon me over, I will have enough confidence. Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly when he heard that. 30 breaths of time was a little too tight. Even if he knew where the real immortal shrine's entrance was, he couldn't enter it within 30 breaths time. That was the Undying Temple, not an ordinary place. What kind of place was the Undying Temple? That was where the undying true God's inheritance was. It was where the undying true God cultivated. It was the real immortal's true demon realm. Immortal's true demon realm. Immortal's true demon realm. How could one enter it so easily? If it was that simple, it wouldn't be the immortal's true demon realm and the legend of the real God territory. How could a legend of the real God territory, his palace, his place of immortal's true demon realm, be entered so easily? If it was that easy, the immortal's true demon realm would have been taken away long ago. Therefore, even if one knew the immortal shrine's entrance, it was impossible to enter it within 30 breaths' time. Therefore, the Taishang Demon's idea wouldn't work at all. If he acted rashly, he would be courting death. This method isn't appropriate. Let's think of another way. Yang Hongwu frowned. Who exactly is that consciousness? Can he help me? Yang Hongwu thought of the strong thought that sent him a message. The appearance of the thought shocked Yang Hongwu. The thought appeared in his consciousness out of nowhere. Moreover, he didn't feel it all. It was enough to prove that the other party's power was much stronger than his. This person's power was far beyond the realm of a Tai real God. Yang Hongwu was confident about this. If the other party's strength was only at the level of an ordinary primordial true God, it would be impossible for him to enter Yang Hongwu's sea of consciousness silently. Moreover, after sending the message, he disappeared without a trace. Since he pointed me in the direction, he should have a way to help me enter the immortal shrine. Could he be the immortal real God? Yang Hongwu couldn't think of any other possibilities. Nini, are you there? Yang Hongwu thought of Nini. Nini was the longevity ancient tree. She also had the aura of a divine talisman. There was a mysterious connection between divine talismans. Although Nini didn't have a divine talisman, she had come into contact with a real divine talisman. Hence, her understanding of divine talismans was much better than Yang Hongwu. Hence, Nini might have a way. Big brother, what's wrong? Nini's voice appeared in Yang Hongwu's consciousness. Nini, can you sense the location of the real immortal shrine? Big brother, are you looking for the real immortal shrine? Isn't it here? Nini asked. Yang Hongwu shook his head and said, this isn't the real immortal shrine. It's just a branch of the immortal shrine created by the immortal real God. However, you can enter the real immortal shrine from here. There's a transmission channel. I'm in great danger now. Zetian has appeared. He's too strong. I can't fight against him now. Yang Hongwu paused and then added, so, I can only find the immortal shrine. There's not only the inheritance of the immortal real God, but also the immortal divine talisman. There's also the origin of the Jiuqian Shidi. With my current strength, I can't take the immortal divine talisman. However, I can refine the origin of the Jiuqian Shidi. Once I refine the origin of the Jiuqian Shidi, I can break through to the great Emperor realm. At that time, I can merge with the true demon incarnation. At that time, even if I can't defeat Zetian, I should have no problem protecting myself. You've come into contact with a real divine talisman. The immortal divine talisman and the divine talisman of the longevity ancient tree clan should have some connection. That way, you should be able to send some information. Now, we don't have much time. I hope you can help me find the chi of the immortal divine talisman and the entrance of the immortal shrine. Nini shook her head and said, I can only sense the chi of the immortal divine talisman here. I can't sense it anywhere else. Nini's words made Yang Hongwu very depressed. What should he do? At that moment, Yang Hongwu discovered that a powerful thought appeared in the depths of his sea of consciousness again. This time, it was the map of the entire immortal shrine. The way to enter the real immortal shrine appeared clearly in Yang Hongwu's mind. Chapter 1093. Spiritual Energy Doppelganger. Who are you? Yang Hongwu was overjoyed when he received the instructions from the mysterious intent. He recalled the identity of the mysterious person and was curious about who he was. Could he be the immortal true God? Or perhaps he was the supreme powerhouse that Bai Qi had mentioned, the one who stood behind him and was valued by him? There's no benefit for you to know my identity now. Moreover, I have a lot of enemies. They're not people you can handle. You only need to know how to survive. When you're strong enough, you'll know everything. After the mysterious intent finished speaking, it disappeared. No matter how Yang Hongwu shouted, it didn't appear. This made Yang Hongwu feel helpless. However, he knew that there was nothing he could do about it. He was indeed too weak. If he didn't know about the existence of the true God territory, Yang Hongwu could be said to be standing at the peak of the 9 heavens 10 earths. However, because of the appearance of the true God territory, his strength was getting stronger and stronger. The enemies he encountered were also getting stronger and stronger. Every time Yang Hongwu thought that he could stand at the peak, he would realize that there were even stronger enemies and stronger existences. However, Yang Hongwu still had a question. He wanted to know how Pan and I was doing. After being separated from Pan and I for a long time, Pan and I had already broken through to the Tai True God realm and entered the True God territory. He didn't know how she was doing. In fact, at this moment, Pan and I was worried about Yang Hongwu. Pan and I was the only one who knew that Yang Hongwu had the Life's Great Seal. When the news of the Life's Great Seal spread, she knew about it immediately. Moreover, she was certain that Yang Hongwu was in trouble now. Because of the appearance of the Life's Great Seal, Yang Hongwu was in even more trouble now. Therefore, after knowing this news, Pan and I had opened a passage and followed Yang Hongwu's aura to find him. Deity, have you found a way to solve the problem? The Taishang demon asked. Time was tight. Zetian's perception was very strong now. His divine thoughts would soon find Yang Hongwu's location. If this continued, they would be exposed. In that case, they would both die. It was better to sacrifice his incarnation in exchange for a chance of survival. After all, he was only an incarnation. If the deity became stronger and reached the legendary level, maybe he could condense his incarnation again. If there's no other way, let me lure Zetian away. Deity, you take the opportunity to leave this place and find a chance of survival. I have a way. I have found the entrance. Yang Hongwu came back to his senses and said, "As for Zetian, I can deal with him. I don't need 30 breaths. At most 10 breaths time will be enough. I will use the secret technique of I Chi turning Sanqing to create a Dharma power doppelganger, and use this Dharma power doppelganger to attract Zetian. I think it will be enough to divert Zetian's attention. In just a few breaths' time, I will be able to escape from here. Moreover, now that the experts of the real God domain have appeared, Zetian's attention will be placed on them." Yang Hongwu knew that there were many experts from the real God domain. These experts came for the Life's Great Seal. It was because of the aura of the Life's Great Seal that he could have a chance of survival. Although it was dangerous, there's still a way out. If the aura of the Life's Great Seal didn't leak out, Zetian would definitely keep a close eye on him, making it difficult for him to find chance. As the saying goes, misfortunes and blessings depend on each other. 10 breaths time. Deity, are you sure you can do it? The Taishang demon was still a little worried. After all, Zetian's strength was now in the realm of Tai True Demon. Moreover, among the Tai True Demons, he was still very strong. He was definitely able to contend with experts in the middle stage of Tai True Demon. He was not like the three brothers of Zhu Xiaotian. Compared to Zetian, the three brothers of Zhu Xiaotian were not on the same level. Now, Zetian was in his peak state. With the strength of the three brothers of Zhu Xiaotian, Zetian could defeat more than 10 people with one punch. 10 breaths time was really too short. Even if Yang Hongwu had the secret technique of void travel, the Taishang demon was still very worried. If Zetian sealed the space, even if Yang Hongwu used the void travel, he might not be able to avoid Zetian's seal and leave this place. If Zetian sensed it at that moment, Yang Hongwu's efforts would probably be in vain. Since I said it, I naturally have enough confidence. Yang Hongwu smiled slightly. He was very confident about this. After saying that, Yang Hongwu moved. With a thought, the secret technique of one chi into 3 pure ones was used. In an instant, he used his Dharma power to create 2 doppelgangers. These 2 doppelgangers were exactly the same as Yang Hongwu. With the same aura, their strength was comparable to Yang Hongwu's. The only problem was that the doppelganger's Dharma power could only last for 10 breaths time. Even so, it was enough to attract Zetian. Go. Good. Of the 2 doppelgangers, one was sent out of the life seal by Yang Hongwu first, while Yang Hongwu and the real demon incarnation were ready. When Zetian's attention was attracted, they would instantly activate the void travel and enter the immortal temple. As soon as the doppelgangers left the space of the life seal, they were sensed by Zetian. Their speed was so fast that it was beyond Yang Hongwu's expectation. Yang Hongwu, you finally appeared. You still haven't improved. Your strength is only at the peak of the Great Sage realm, not even the Great Emperor realm. How are you going to fight with me? Now you're no longer worthy of being my opponent. Hand over the life seal, and I can spare you. I can even let you become the master of Jiuqian Shidi. How about it? Zetian looked at Yang Hongwu's doppelgangers. His tone sounded like he was giving alms. He did not put Yang Hongwu in his eyes at all, as if Yang Hongwu was a beggar. Let's go. At this time, Yang Hongwu's original body was not in the mood to see how Zetian was doing. Instead, he instantly activated the void travel and was ready to escape into the immortal temple of the immortal true God. Oh no, this is fake. It's just a doppelganger. Zetian instantly felt the fluctuation of space. Although Yang Hongwu's void travel was very powerful, Yang Hongwu's strength was only at the Great Sage realm, not even the Great Emperor realm. No matter how powerful the void travel was, it could not escape from Zetian's senses. How could a Tai true God be fooled so easily? Chapter 1094. The expert descends. Zetian, go to hell. Immortal Cloud Strike. Yang Hongwu's other dermic energy avatar also moved at this moment. A terrifying power burst out from it, as if a massive immortal cloud was rushing towards Zetian. Want a sneak attack? What a joke. Let me show you the difference between us. Zetian saw this and sneered. He raised his right hand and condensed a powerful devil chi. This attack collided with Yang Hongwu's immortal cloud strike and shattered the power of Yang Hongwu's immortal cloud strike. Then, it bombarded Yang Hongwu's dermic energy avatar. Another avatar, damn it. After destroying Yang Hongwu's dermic energy avatar, Zetian realized that he had been tricked. Yang Hongwu's strength was not weak. He had countless treasures on him. If it was his real body, he would definitely have the life seal protecting him. How could he be killed so easily? Moreover, it was impossible for the life seal not to appear after killing him. Therefore, Zetian was so angry. He fiercely punched out. That terrifying power instantly pierced through the entire space. Tai True Demon. At this moment, the experts of the True God domain appeared. Damn demon, kill him. Tai True Demon was the existence hated by the Tai True Gods in the True God domain. The war between the gods and demons had lasted for many years. Now, the True God domain and the True Devil domain were still fighting. Every Tai True God had countless relatives who had died in the hands of Tai True Demons. Therefore, once a Tai True Demon appeared, no matter if they had enmity with him or not, they would find a way to kill him. Experts of the True God domain, you've come at the right time. Zetian saw these people, and his face was filled with joy. The secret technique that he cultivated was special. He could devour the origin energy of others to improve himself. In Jiuqian City, there were no experts above the Tai True God realm, and there were no Tai True Demons. Therefore, it was very difficult for him to improve his strength. Originally, he had planned to break through the space barrier and enter the True Devil domain after obtaining the life seal. Only in the True Devil domain could he continue to improve. He had already obtained the memories of the original body. Although he had not fully awakened, a part of the memories was enough. He knew a lot of information about the True Devil domain. He might be strong enough to fight against a mid-stage Grand Unity True Demon, but he had no chance against a peak Grand Unity True Demon. Moreover, the True Devil domain was extremely cruel and filled with dangers. If one wasn't careful, they would be consigned to eternal damnation. Moreover, he had the supreme devil blood in his body. This supreme devil blood was something that the supreme devil True Devils wanted very much. Once they sensed the supreme devil blood in his body, his death would be imminent. Therefore, before he grew stronger, he did not dare to take the risk and enter the True Devil domain. After all, there were too many experts there. Moreover, many people could sense the bloodline in his body. In Jiuqian City, he knew that he was being used by the Heavenly Tao. The Heavenly Tao thought that it could control him. However, all of this was within his calculations. He could destroy the Heavenly Tao at any time. There was no need to worry. In his eyes, Yang Hongwu was a bigger threat to him than the Heavenly Tao. He did not care about the Heavenly Tao. This Yang Hongwu seemed to be his mortal enemy. Therefore, after Yang Hongwu escaped, Zetian was so angry. However, these experts from the True God domain were the best nourishment for Zetian. If he could kill them and devour them, his strength would rise to another level. When his strength reached the mid-Tai True Demon realm, he would be able to protect himself in the True Devil domain. He's just a little demon. What are you nervous about? Watch how I kill him. A disciple of a true god was extremely arrogant. He was considered a little genius in the True God domain. Seeing Zetian like this, he sneered. He did not even put Zetian in his eyes. He did not even unsheath the sword in his hand. Instead, he attacked with his sword chi. This sword chi was extremely domineering. The space was sliced apart like paper. After all, this was the ancient desolate continent. It was not on the same level as the True God domain. How could the space here withstand such sword chi? That young true deity was extremely confident, thinking that this little devil would definitely be torn to pieces by this streak of sword energy. This way, he would be able to reveal a bit of himself. However, reality was often cruel. It was completely different from what he had imagined. Although this sword chi was strong, it was not enough in front of Zetion. Zetion snorted. A terrifying, strange beast condensed in the void. This strange beast had the appearance of a Taotai. It opened its mouth and sucked. It was as if it was going to devour the heaven and earth. That sword chi was swallowed by the Taotai giant beast. Come here. The Taotai beast formed by Zetion let out a deafening roar. Then, a terrifying force caught the young, true celestial in an instant. In the next moment, the young, true celestial was devoured by the Taotai beast. After that, the Taotai giant beast turned into a black light and entered Zetion's forehead. Zetion's aura increased once again. This scene caused everyone to be stupefied. Only some of the old antiques, the clones of the ancient experts, were not frightened. However, their expressions were not good. These ancient experts looked at Zetion's Taotai giant beast with a heavy expression. It's actually the Taotai devil true god. This beast actually came out? Kill him. He hasn't grown up yet. This is the best chance, another person said. After discussing for a while, these old antiques attacked Zetion. Each of them unleashed a terrifying aura. The entire heaven and earth, the entire space, was about to be shattered by this terrifying force. Although this was a divine palace of the immortal true God, it was still a divine palace of the ancient wilderness. Now that Yang Hongwu had entered the true divine palace's passageway, the seal here began to dissipate. Without the support of the immortal true God, how could the space here withstand the power of these Tai true gods? Therefore, when these people unleashed all their power, this space had already begun to collapse. Haha, I didn't expect my luck to be so good. Although I didn't get the life seal, I can still devour some powerful clones of the true gods. This is not bad. After devouring all of you, my strength will increase to another level. I might even be able to break through to the middle stage of the Tai, true demon, true god. Zetion looked at these people attacking together. He was not afraid. Moreover, he knew that Yang Hongwu was not dead yet. The heavenly Tao would still help him. Chapter 1095. Elder Zhu. At this time, Yang Hongwu had already been transported into the Temple of the Immortal. After entering the temple, the passageway was completely sealed. Yang Hongwu heaved a sigh of relief. Finally safe. Big brother, this is really the Temple of the Immortal. I can feel the aura of the immortal God talisman, Nini said. Yang Hongwu took a deep breath and nodded. Yes, this is the Temple of the Immortal. You can feel the aura of the immortal God talisman? Is there really an immortal God talisman here? Yes, big brother. The aura of the immortal God talisman is very strong here. I can be sure that there's an immortal God talisman here. However, big brother, you are too weak. If you don't have the immortal God talisman's acknowledgement, you will die if you try to take the immortal God talisman, Nini said. Little girl, you're not bad. You have the aura of the God talisman on you. Back then, I was friends with an expert from the Longevity Ancient Tree Clan. Unfortunately, a voice came from all directions. This gave Yang Hongwu and the others a shock. Who is it? The Taishang demon shouted and got into an attacking posture. Little guy, don't be nervous. If I want to kill you, you won't be able to fight back at all. A figure appeared out of nowhere silently. He turned around. His face was very ordinary, as if he was an ordinary person. There was no aura of an expert on him. However, this was what shocked Yang Hongwu. Along the way, Yang Hongwu had seen too many experts. From the honorable realm to the Tai real god realm, he had seen all of them. However, the person in front of him was the one that shocked Yang Hongwu the most. Yang Hongwu could not sense any aura of an expert on him. Yang Hongwu even had a feeling that he could knock down the person in front of him with a casual blow. However, it was precisely because of this that Yang Hongwu was alarmed. Moreover, this feeling was very strong, causing Yang Hongwu to have a strong feeling in his heart. This feeling told Yang Hongwu that in front of him, this person was just an ordinary person without any cultivation. He could kill him with a flick of a finger, a sneeze, or even a breath was enough to kill him. However, Yang Hongwu was very clear that this person was not an ordinary person at all. He did not know how powerful his strength was. Silently, he had misled her. Looking at the Taishang demon and Nini again, their expressions had already changed. Originally, the Taishang demon was extremely guarded against this person in front of him. But now, he couldn't raise any guard at all. Even Yang Hongwu himself had let down his guard. Scary, too scary. If he were to make a move at this time, it would be too scary. There would be almost no resistance at all. Yang Hongwu had to admit that this person's art of bewitchment had reached a top-notch level. The nine-tailed celestial fox, the black celestial fox, and the succubus clan were nothing compared to this person in front of him. This was the pinnacle of art of bewitchment. When Yang Hongwu thought of this, the person actually smiled and said to Yang Hongwu, "Art of bewitchment? No, little guy, I didn't use any art of bewitchment." Yang Hongwu was shocked. He could actually read his mind. This was too scary. Could he be the legendary immortal real god? This legendary immortal real god, who was incomparably powerful and killed people without batting an eyelid, was actually like this? However, his strength was too scary. Wasn't a little too scary? He was simply the smiling god of death. If he wanted to kill, who knew how many people would be beheaded by his smile when they were caught off guard? "Senior, who are you? Are you the immortal real god, Senior?" Yang Hongwu took a deep breath and said with a respectful tone, "Little guy, don't be nervous. You don't have to worry that I will harm you. As for my identity, there's no harm in telling you. I'm not the immortal real god. I'm just an ordinary housekeeper. I'm the housekeeper of my master." He said lightly, "You can call me Elder Zhu." "Elder Zhu, you're the housekeeper of the immortal real god, Senior?" Yang Hongwu asked again. Elder Zhu nodded and said, "Yes, I've been by my master's side for a long time. When my master's strength broke through again, he broke the shackles of the Tai real god and entered the legendary realm. I was left here to wait for his successor to appear, which is my new master. And you, after so many years, are the only one who has opened the immortal shrine and entered the real immortal shrine, the place of inheritance of my master." "Me? The only one who has entered the immortal shrine?" Yang Hongwu was very surprised and said, "Senior, you're saying that no one has ever entered here before? Why? I think in the Jiuqian City, even in the real god domain, there are countless geniuses and experts. They should be qualified to enter here, right? There are countless geniuses and experts who are more outstanding than me. Could it be that they have never entered here before?" "That's right. In the Jiuqian City and real god domain, there are countless geniuses and experts. There are countless people who are more outstanding than you. Some of them are even as talented as my master. However, they are not qualified to enter here, to enter the immortal shrine." Elder Zhu said, "That's because they are not recognized by the immortal god talisman." "Immortal god talisman?" Yang Hongwu was stunned and said, "Who are you? If you want to enter here, you must be recognized by the immortal god talisman." "Have I already been recognized by the immortal god talisman?" When Yang Hongwu heard this, he was pleasantly surprised. If he could really be recognized by the immortal god talisman and obtain the immortal god talisman, then his strength would increase again and he would have a huge improvement. If he could really obtain the immortal god talisman, then his strength would skyrocket. At that time, it would not be impossible for him to become a legend in the real god domain. Chapter 1096. Test hearing this, Yang Hongwu was shocked. The immortal divine talisman was so powerful. Even the immortal true god hadn't really been recognized by the immortal god talisman. He had only obtained the qualification to practice it. Then, how terrifying would the real immortal god talisman be? What kind of scene would it be if all of its power erupted? Yang Hongwu took a deep breath. Yang Hongwu thought, the immortal true god could not get the approval of the immortal divine talisman, but he could. Then, how can I use the power of the immortal divine talisman to cultivate? Also, how can I get the approval of the immortal divine talisman and become its owner? Yang Hongwu asked, I don't know what condition you have to meet to become the owner of the immortal divine talisman. If I knew, I wouldn't just be a guard of the immortal shrine. It's very easy to use the power of the immortal divine talisman to cultivate. You just have to pass the test of the immortal divine talisman. Elder Zhu said, the test of the immortal divine talisman. To be exact, you can't use the power of the immortal divine talisman to cultivate. You can only use the immortal shrine as a medium to cultivate. In other words, you just have to pass the test that Master has set for you, and you can enter the cultivation room that Master has specially built to cultivate. With your current strength, it's not easy to pass the test that Master has set for you. Elder Zhu said, is the test very difficult? What kind of test is it? Can you explain it to me? Yang Hongwu asked. There are only two tests that Master has set, perseverance and comprehension. As long as you pass these two tests, you can enter the cultivation room to cultivate. Moreover, the cultivation room is divided into different levels. If you pass the first level test, you can enter the first level cultivation room. If you pass the second level test, you can enter the second level cultivation room. The difference between each level of the cultivation room is very big. Cultivating for a day in the second level cultivation room is equivalent to cultivating for 10 days in the first level cultivation room. Therefore, the higher the level of the cultivation room, the greater the benefits of cultivating in it. Elder Zhu said, how is the test? Where is it? Bring me there quickly. Yang Hongwu said, all right, follow me. Elder Zhu said. Yang Hongwu and the Taishang demon followed behind Elder Zhu. Soon, they arrived in front of a flight of stairs. Elder Zhu pointed at the stairs and said, the test of perseverance is right there. If you can go up to the first flight of stairs, it will be a first-level perseverance test. The second flight will be a second-level perseverance test. It's so easy, just going up the stairs. When Yang Hongwu heard this, he was overjoyed. As long as he could walk up the steps, then this test would be too simple and easy. Don't underestimate this small step. In reality, this step is a small world. The instant you step onto it, you will be drawn into a small world. That is where the true test is. If you pass the test, you can go up to the first step. If you don't pass the test, you will be kicked down, Old Zhu said. So it's a small world. Then, what about the test of comprehension? Where is it? Yang Hongwu asked again. Comprehension. When you step onto the steps, there will be some runes on the steps. As long as you can comprehend what is written in the runes, you will pass, Elder Zhu said. Yang Hongwu nodded, but he was muttering in his heart. Real God Busi was a supreme expert. How could he design such a low-level test? It wasn't high class at all. This flight of stairs was simply a child's trick. It didn't match real God Busi's status and identity at all. Of course, Yang Hongwu only thought about it in his heart. He wouldn't say it out loud. Otherwise, Elder Zhu would teach him a lesson. One had to know that this was Elder Zhu's territory. Moreover, Elder Zhu's strength was too terrifying. Although his strength could barely pass, he couldn't withstand a single blow from Elder Zhu. Yang Hongwu knew it clearly. Even Zetian would be nothing in front of Elder Zhu. Busi Real God was indeed powerful. A mere housekeeper's strength was already so terrifying. If he was the real body of Busi Real God, how powerful would he be? Let me give it a try. Let's see how many levels of the test I can pass, Yang Hongwu said. He walked forward and reached the first flight of stairs. The moment Yang Hongwu stepped on the stairs, he found himself in a special space. The stairs were originally just a single step, but now there were countless steps. There was no end in sight. Looking at this scene, Yang Hongwu sucked in a breath of cold air. F***CK, this test was really climbing the stairs. However, there were too many stairs. He estimated that there were more than 10,000 of them. Moreover, Yang Hongwu could feel that there were powerful seals and runes on the stairs. These seals and runes were able to seal his spiritual power and even his physical strength. There was no way to mobilize magic power, nor was there any way to mobilize the power of the physical body. It was the same for spiritual power and the power of the primordial spirit. Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly in his heart. This test was indeed very difficult. It was not something that an ordinary person could pass. It was already very good for an ordinary person to climb 1,000 steps. Without the support of his spiritual power and physical strength, he was just an ordinary person. How many steps could he climb? Yang Hanwu wasn't even sure if he could walk up the 10,000 steps. However, since he was already here, there was no reason for him not to try. If he gave up, it would be too shameful. Moreover, if he could not even pass the first level of the test, he would not be able to forgive himself. Gritting his teeth, Yang Hanwu stepped on the Conqueror's stairs. The first step. After stepping on the first step, Yang Hanwu felt a wave of pressure. Although the pressure wasn't very strong, it was only the first step. If the pressure was already so strong on the first step, it would be even more frightening. Even if the pressure was only like this, he might not be able to reach the peak and reach the last step. If the pressure continued to increase, it would be even more difficult. After Yang Hongwu stepped on the first step, he slowly increased his speed. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20. Yang Hongwu's speed became faster and faster. The pressure behind the steps also became greater and greater. 100, 1,000. When he reached the 1,000th step, Yang Hongwu felt a huge pressure. This pressure made Yang Hongwu almost unable to move his feet. Chapter 1097. Comprehending the rune. Persevere, I must persevere. Yang Hongwu thought to himself as he looked at the endless flight of stairs. If he couldn't even pass the first test, it would be too embarrassing. Moreover, if he couldn't even pass this test, he wouldn't even be able to enter the cultivation room, let alone obtain the recognition of the immortal god talisman and become its owner. Since he wanted to become the owner of the immortal god talisman, he had to perform well. How could this little bit of pressure stop him? Thinking of this, Yang Hongwu's willpower became firm. If he wanted to become an expert among experts, he would have to go through countless trials and tribulations. Solid Rock Heart Sutra. At this moment, a cultivation technique flashed in Yang Hongwu's mind. This cultivation technique was one that Yang Hongwu had practiced before. All along, after obtaining the 9 Heavens Divine Dragon technique, Yang Hongwu had never practiced the Solid Rock Heart Sutra again. The Solid Rock Heart Sutra was extremely helpful for the cultivation of willpower. Even if one didn't have any magic power and couldn't use their mental strength, they could still practice it. Wasn't it just right for the current situation? After starting to practice the Solid Rock Heart Sutra, Yang Hongwu felt that his body had recovered its energy. Moreover, his strength seemed to have become stronger. Here, there was a huge pressure. The strength of the physical body, magic power, and mental strength were all limited. However, after starting to practice the Solid Rock Heart Sutra for a while, Yang Hongwu felt that the pressure seemed to have lessened by a lot. It seemed that he had underestimated the Solid Rock Heart Sutra in the past. The heart was like a boulder, and the willpower was tempered thousands of times. When the heart was cultivated to a certain level, there would be a huge change in the willpower. Yang Hongwu obviously hadn't truly reached that level. In fact, he hadn't even crossed the threshold. The true cultivation of willpower was a very mysterious realm. The Solid Rock Heart Sutra's test steps were meant to temper one's willpower. A thought flashed through Yang Hongwu's mind. These steps had probably been specially created to temper one's willpower in order to make up for one's shortcomings. If he wanted to break through the Great Emperor realm and merge with his true demon incarnation, the Taishang demon, then he would have to endure terrible pain and have a willpower that was as strong as a rock. However, his willpower was obviously not enough. This was his weakness. After going through the tempering of these steps, his willpower would be greatly improved. At that time, his cultivation would advance by leaps and bounds. After figuring this out, the light in Yang Hongwu's eyes became brighter. Although his body was still very tired, he was full of energy. Yang Hongwu began to move again. Step by step, his speed became faster and faster. The Boulder Heart Sutra was madly circulating. Yang Hongwu realized that willpower was a special kind of power. Although it couldn't be seen or touched, it could still be cultivated. However, this thing could only be understood and not explained. If someone had told him what to do with willpower, he might not have been able to cultivate it. However, Yang Hongwu had endured a huge amount of pressure here. In addition, the Boulder Heart Sutra had allowed him to comprehend this mysterious power. There were many special existences in the Great Thousand Cosmos. The physical world existed, and so did the virtual world. The physical world was a world that could be seen and touched, while the invisible world was an immaterial world. For example, the spiritual world, or the world where willpower existed. However, when these immaterial powers were cultivated to a certain level, they could become material. This was the case for mind power, and willpower could also become material. It was as if a new door had been opened in Yang Hongwu's mind, opening up a brand new world. Yang Hongwu's cultivation speed became faster and faster. The speed at which he climbed the steps also became more and more astonishing. 2,000 steps, 3,000 steps, 10,000 steps, 20,000 steps. After climbing countless steps, Yang Hongwu's speed reached its peak. Suddenly, the scene before his eyes changed. The originally endless flight of stairs disappeared, and what appeared in front of him was a towering stone tablet. On this towering stone tablet, there were mysterious runes. These runes were filled with a mysterious power. They were very mysterious. Have I passed the first test of the first stage? Yang Hongwu looked at the towering stone tablet in front of him. The symbols on top of it were the things that Elder Zhu had mentioned before, the things that he needed to comprehend. He had already passed the first test, the willpower test. Now, what he needed to test was his comprehension ability. As long as he could comprehend the ancient and mysterious runes on the stone tablet, then he could truly pass the first stage of the test. While Yang Hongwu was in deep thought, Elder Zhu was very surprised. This kid is indeed worthy of being chosen by the immortal god talisman. His aptitude is actually so strong. His talent is simply inconceivable. Elder Zhu murmured. Even Master couldn't compare to him back then. This kid actually used less than a day to comprehend the key point and break through the first test of willpower. In reality, these tests were not set up by the immortal god. This was the power of the immortal god talisman. When Elder Zhu saw Yang Hongwu's performance, he was indeed shocked. What kind of existence was the immortal god? He was an invincible existence in the true god domain. He was a supreme, true god king. His talent and strength were unimaginable. Even Elder Zhu had to spend a long time in this test. However, Yang Hongwu actually used less than a day to pass the first test. He had to admit that Yang Hongwu was really amazing. Let me see what kind of level you can reach. Elder Zhu murmured. At this moment, Yang Hongwu looked at the runes on the stone tablet. These runes looked very simple. However, they did not seem to have any power within them. They were very ordinary. It was as if a child had casually drawn them. This gave Yang Hongwu a headache. After staring at the runes for so long, Yang Hongwu was actually unable to comprehend them. This made Yang Hongwu extremely annoyed. What is the meaning of this? There is no power within the runes. Moreover, these runes are too simple. I can't comprehend anything from just a few strokes. Yang Hongwu bitterly smiled in his heart. Because his spiritual power and mental strength were suppressed, Yang Hongwu was like an ordinary person at this moment. Therefore, he had been standing like this with his head raised, looking at the runes on the tall stone tablet, which consumed a lot of his spiritual power. Chapter 1098. Divine Talisman Technique. Could it be that I've passed the first test, but I can't pass the second one? Or is it that my perception is that bad? Yang Hongwu thought to himself. Yang Hongwu was very unhappy that he had no clue after such a long time. This brat has encountered a problem. Elder Zhu was very happy to see Yang Hongwu scratching his ears and cheeks. After all, this kid's performance was too heaven-defying. But unexpectedly, Yang Hongwu calmed down very quickly. The solid rock heart sutra started to circulate. His entire body entered a special state. It was a state of emptiness. Looking at this scene, Elder Zhu was dumbfounded. This brat was too abnormal. At this moment, he actually entered the state of emptiness. It was a very mysterious state. Yang Hongwu was enlightened. He forgot everything. He emptied his mind and did not think about anything. Simple. Everything in the world was simple. Turning complexity into simplicity was the true Tao. Weren't all complicated things formed from simple things? Simple talismans intertwined and turned into complicated talismans. All powerful talismans were formed from these simple talismans. Those talismans flew out from the stone tablet. They kept rotating and entered Yang Hongwu's body. They entered his sea of consciousness. One after another, identical runes entered his sea of consciousness as if there was no end to them. In his sea of consciousness, they constantly mixed and recombined, turning into even more mysterious runes. From small runes, they became bigger runes. This process made Yang Hongwu come to a realization. The divine talisman technique that he had cultivated before had changed. Wasn't this the foundation of the divine talisman technique? Yang Hongwu's body started to change. The power around him started to gather. It was the power of the talismans. It attracted all the power around him. Elder Zhu was shocked. How? How is this possible? Of course, he was aware of the changes in his surroundings. This was because he had activated the origin energy of the immortal god talisman. This kid was just a great saint. He was not even a great emperor. How could he activate the origin energy of the immortal divine talisman? How could he not be shocked? He had been in the immortal shrine for so many years. He had been guarding the immortal divine talisman for so many years. He could not remember how long it had been. He had tried to activate the immortal divine talisman in order to gain its recognition. However, it was all in vain. He couldn't activate the power of the immortal divine talisman at all. Not to mention the origin energy, he couldn't even activate the power of the ordinary immortal divine talisman. However, he did not expect Yang Hongwu, a great saint, to encounter such a situation. He was only a great saint when he was comprehending the immortal divine talisman. His master, the immortal divine talisman, had activated the immortal divine talisman. The immortal divine talisman. However, at that time, the immortal divine talisman was already a Tai true god. Moreover, he had to comprehend it countless times before he was able to activate the origin energy of the immortal divine talisman. He didn't dare to believe all these changes. This young man was too heaven-defying. His comprehension was too terrifying. Perhaps he could really get the approval of the immortal divine talisman and surpass his master, the immortal divine talisman. After an unknown amount of time, Yang Hongwu's entire body seemed to be surrounded by black runes. It was as if he was a giant black egg. The runes were very mysterious. Boom! There was a loud explosion. The black talismans exploded. Yang Hongwu's eyes shot out a beam of light. Yang Hongwu realized that he had mastered a stronger talisman power. He waved his hand, and a talisman appeared. It was a talisman condensed by his willpower. The talisman power seemed to have its own will. It could attack according to Yang Hongwu's thoughts. Is this the divine talisman technique? No, this is not the divine talisman technique. Yang Hongwu felt that it was inconceivable. He didn't even know what had just happened. He had inexplicably grasped such a powerful secret technique. He did not need to activate his spiritual power or mental strength to attack. He could use his willpower to construct a talisman to attack. This was related to the divine talisman technique. It was more mysterious and powerful than the divine talisman technique. A light flashed across Yang Hongwu's mind. The divine talisman technique should be related to the immortal divine talisman. In other words, it was related to the 8 great divine talismans. Perhaps the person who created the divine talisman technique had studied the divine talisman and created this mysterious secret technique. Was the talisman emperor related to the 8 great divine talismans? Perhaps the talisman emperor was an expert who had obtained a divine talisman. Like the immortal divine talisman, he became so powerful because he had obtained a divine talisman. Yang Hongwu took a deep breath and put these thoughts aside. He could be considered to have passed the first test. Elder Zhu. Yang Hongwu returned to the stairs and looked at the person beside him. It was none other than Elder Zhu. He said, I have passed the first test, right? Can I enter the level 1 cultivation room to cultivate? Of course. You were much faster than I had imagined. You actually managed to pass through the trial in such a short period of time. I am very gratified. However, you must not become arrogant and complacent because of this. In a path of cultivation, there must be no shortcuts. You must take one step at a time, steadily and steadily, Elder Zhu said. I know. Yang Hongwu nodded. Thank you for your guidance. It's good that you know. Let me send you to the cultivation room. Elder Zhu was a bit surprised to see Yang Hongwu like this. Generally, geniuses had their own pride and character. However, Elder Zhu admired Yang Hongwu a lot. Yang Hongwu didn't have the arrogance of ordinary geniuses. He didn't think that he was number one in the world and was invincible. This was very good. There were countless geniuses in this world, but there were only a few who could see through their own heart and see through themselves. Talent was one of the factors to become an expert. However, it was far from enough. To become a true expert, one must not only have talent, but also have a strong will. Most importantly, one must be able to see through themselves. It was extremely difficult to become a true expert. In the path of cultivation, there was only one true enemy to become an expert. That was oneself. If he could truly see through himself and defeat himself, then he would have the true potential to become a powerhouse. But now, Yang Hongwu was very good. He clearly saw his own position and didn't put himself too high. Of course, he wouldn't look down on himself too much either. Chapter 1099. Origin Dragon. In the first level of the cultivation room, Yang Hongwu could feel the surging spiritual power inside. Cultivating in this place would definitely allow one to make rapid progress. However, Yang Hongwu didn't want to cultivate now because Yang Hongwu knew that cultivating here wouldn't help him break through to the Great Emperor Realm. To Yang Hongwu, breaking through to the Great Emperor Realm was the key. If he couldn't break through to the Great Emperor Realm, he would be in trouble. At that time, he wouldn't be a match for Zi Tian and Tian Dao. His enemies might be nothing in the eyes of the immortal real god, or even in the eyes of the immortal real god's housekeeper, Elder Zhu. However, to Yang Hongwu, they were powerful enemies. At the moment, Yang Hongwu couldn't deal with them with his own strength. And now, the only thing that could allow Yang Hongwu's strength to break through in a short period of time was to devour and refine the power of origin of the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Without the power of origin, it was impossible to break through. Of course, if there was a way to merge his original body with the incarnation of the real demon, which was the Taishang demon, then his strength might be able to break through to the Great Emperor Realm. However, it wasn't easy. Elder Zhu, can I ask you a question? Yang Hongwu hesitated for a while and asked. Go ahead. Is there the origin energy of Jiutian Shidi here? Or is there a way for me to break through to the Great Emperor Realm? Yang Hongwu asked. You want to use the origin energy of Jiutian Shidi to break through? Elder Zhu was surprised when he heard Yang Hongwu's words. He said, do you know that if you devour the origin energy of Jiutian Shidi, although you can break through in a short period of time, it won't be of any help to your cultivation in the future. It will only harm you. Yang Hongwu sighed and said this may be. However, I don't have a choice now. I have to break through to the Great Emperor Realm in the shortest time possible. Otherwise, I'll be in big trouble. If I can't even protect my own life or the people I care about, then there's no point in living, not to mention my cultivation in the future. Sigh, kid, you're the most outstanding genius I've ever seen. In fact, I can seriously tell you that your aptitude and talent are even stronger and more terrifying than my master, the undying true God. If you can take things one step at a time and cultivate properly here, you'll become a supreme existence in less than 10,000 years. You might even reach the level of my master. Tens of thousands of years later, you might even surpass my master, the undying true God. Did you know that? However, if you choose to break through forcefully now, it'll affect your future greatly. If you can't take one step at a time and choose to break through forcefully, then it'll be detrimental to your cultivation in the future. You won't be able to reach that level within 10,000 years. It'll be very difficult for you to break through to the Tai True God realm in the future, Elder Zhu said. Even so what? Elder Zhu, you don't have to persuade me. I just want to know if there's a way for me to break through in the shortest amount of time. I came here to the Immortal Shrine to obtain the origin energy of Jiutian Shidi and to break through my current cultivation level. Because only by breaking through can I fight against my greatest enemy, Zi Tian. Only then can I fight against the heavenly Tao of Jiutian Shidi. Only then can I protect the people and the things I want to protect. Yang Hongwu said firmly. If you insist on doing this, it is not that there is no other way. However, I can tell you this. If you're able to wait for a year and properly build your foundation during this year, you will be able to make a breakthrough after a year without any side effects, Elder Zhu said. He didn't want to see such a genius destroy himself because of such a small matter. Moreover, this was the person chosen by the immortal God Talisman, the disciple chosen by the immortal true God. Speaking of which, Yang Hongwu could be considered as his young master. Of course, he didn't want his future master to have difficulties because of such a small matter. Elder Zhu, you don't have to persuade me anymore. I can't wait for a year. If I had a year, I wouldn't be in such a hurry. I'm confident that I can break through to the great Emperor realm in a year. Why should I be so anxious to find the origin energy of Jiutian Shidi to break through? Yang Hongwu said, What a pity. Hearing Yang Hongwu's words, Elder Zhu sighed. I don't have a way to leave the immortal shrine, but if I do, I can help you solve the problem in front of you. I don't dare to trouble Elder Zhu. Moreover, this is my own problem. I have to solve it myself. If I let others solve this problem, it'll be bad for my future cultivation. Yang Hongwu smiled wryly. The path of cultivation was about having a clear mind. If one's mind wasn't clear, then one's future cultivation would be filled with inner demons. All right, I respect your choice. Come with me now, Elder Zhu said. Yang Hongwu was overjoyed when he heard that. He said, Thank you, Elder Zhu. After a while, Yang Hongwu and Elder Zhu arrived at a huge hall. This hall was like a huge prison. There were ancient runes on it that were filled with sealing power. The sealing power was extremely strong. Yang Hongwu felt a great pressure. It was as if he was going to be sealed by the terrifying sealing power. This is the origin energy that you need. It's sealed in this space. Elder Zhu said, Roar. Yang Hongwu passed through the seal and saw the thing inside. It was a huge dragon, mighty and domineering. Although it was a huge dragon, it was actually a transformation of the origin energy. It had its own consciousness, just like a dragon vein. When the dragon chi was condensed to a certain extent, it would transform into a real dragon. The stronger it was, the stronger it would be. Ordinary people couldn't imagine it. Chapter 1100. Master of the Talisman. Do I have any other choice now? Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly. No matter how dangerous it is, I have to try. If I don't succeed, I will die trying. Elder Zhu, send me in, Yang Hongwu said. I'll go in with you, the Taishang demon said. Yang Hongwu nodded. Okay, very well. You must be careful. If it is truly impossible, I can think of a way to teleport you out. Yang Hongwu nodded. After saying that, Elder Zhu waved his hand, and a ray of light enveloped Yang Hongwu. The next moment, Yang Hongwu and the Taishang demon were transported into the sealed space. As soon as it entered the space, the dragon rushed towards Yang Hongwu with bared fangs and brandished claws. Yang Hongwu's original body and the Taishang demon looked at each other and launched an attack tacitly. Jingshin finger. Yang Hongwu bellowed. His magic power erupted, and a gigantic finger pierced through the air, stabbing towards the giant dragon. Its aura was terrifying, and it was as if the world was about to be pierced through. The Taishang demon also made his move. A terrifying giant bridge appeared in his hand. That was the Heavenly Demon Bridge. After the Heavenly Demon Bridge was absorbed and refined by the Taishang demon, this was the first time it was used. The gigantic bridge seemed to connect the heavens and the earth. A terrifying power appeared from the demonic bridge, and the huge impact sent the gigantic dragon flying. Yang Hongwu and the true demon incarnation had a tacit understanding of each other. Their attack power was shocking. Although the giant dragon was strong, it could not react in time under such a powerful attack. It was caught off guard. As the source of Jiutian Shidi, it was extremely powerful. Although it had been sealed for so many years, and its power had been greatly reduced, it was still not something that an ordinary warrior could withstand. Even an expert in the realm of Tai Real God would find it difficult to defeat and refine it. Yang Hongwu and the Taishang demon's attack made it furious. Its originally huge body became even bigger, and its face became even more ferocious, like a terrifying evil dragon. It became very ferocious, and its sharp teeth seemed to be able to tear everything apart. Its huge eyes flashed with ferociousness and hatred. It wanted to tear Yang Hongwu and the Taishang demon into pieces. What a beast! Come! A battle sword appeared in Yang Hongwu's hand. It was naturally the Hongmeng saber. The Hongmeng saber. Its power was infinite. It had become an emperor's weapon. It was a top emperor's weapon. It even had the chance to evolve into a true treasure. Most importantly, the Hongmeng saber was evolved from the Nine Dragons battle saber. The Nine Dragons battle saber was very lethal to dragons. Although it had evolved into the Hongmeng saber, it was still very lethal to dragons. Nine Dragons Saint Body, activate. Battle Spirit Possession, activate. 9 changes of the mysterious dragon, activate. Yang Hongwu exploded with his strongest power. He wanted to subdue the giant dragon and devour its power so that he could break through to the great emperor realm. For this, he did not care about anything else. If he did not succeed, he would die trying. With an indomitable spirit, he cut off all paths of retreat. Dragon slaying slash. Yang Hongwu shouted angrily. All of his spiritual power was injected into the Nine Dragons battle saber. A terrifying saber light soared into the sky and tore a crack in the originally powerful sealed space. Looking at this scene, Elder Zhu was shocked. He did not expect that although Yang Hongwu was not in the Great Emperor realm, his combat power was so terrifying. The energy contained within his body was extremely terrifying. There was also a terrifying energy sealed within his body. If this terrifying energy were to erupt, it was likely that this entire space would collapse. The entire 9 heavens and 10 earths wouldn't be able to withstand such a powerful energy. This shocked him. If Yang Hongwu did not burst out such a powerful energy that triggered the mysterious energy in his body, he would not have noticed that there was such a powerful and mysterious energy in Yang Hongwu's body. This power caused his heart to palpitate. He couldn't even muster up the strength to resist. In front of this terrifying power, he felt like an ant. Terrifying. This is too terrifying, Elder Zhu murmured. No wonder the immortal god talisman took a fancy to him. I wonder what kind of almighty reincarnation he is. There was only one possibility for such a situation to occur. That was, Yang Hongwu himself was the reincarnation of a super expert. Moreover, that expert was someone that even his master, the undying real God, could not compare with. Perhaps it was not a bad choice to have such a powerful person as the new master. Looking at Yang Hongwu, Elder Zhu's eyes flickered. Although he was powerful and was already in the late stage of Tai True God realm, his strength had already surpassed many experts. He could even become a warlord in the True God realm. However, his strength had already reached the pinnacle. He did not have the possibility to advance any further. However, Yang Hongwu's appearance gave him hope. He saw the hope of advancing further. He even had the chance to break through the Supreme Realm and surpass the Supreme True God realm. The blade radiance of the dragon slaying saber instantly hit the giant dragon. The Taishang demon did not stay idle. The devouring power of the demon marks exploded and pinned the giant dragon to the ground. It could not move at all. The powerful energy was being devoured crazily. The demon marks formed a terrifying whirlpool and devoured the giant dragon's energy crazily, like a whale sucking in water. Yang Hongwu did not stay idle either. He activated the 9 turns of yin-yang harmony art crazily and activated his immortal dragon body to the extreme. His energy was being devoured crazily. Moreover, Yang Hongwu's transformation was not limited to this. There were many things that he did not understand before, but he began to understand. He entered a special state, as if he had become one with the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Mysterious and ancient runes gathered on Yang Hongwu's body. The power of the runes in the space was mobilized by Yang Hongwu. How is this possible? This is the power of the immortal god talisman. Looking at this scene, Elder Zhu was stunned once again. Yang Hongwu could actually mobilize the power of the immortal god talisman now. This was too shocking. That was the immortal god talisman. Did he get the recognition of the immortal god talisman? Elder Zhu's eyes were wide open. This was too unbelievable. What kind of existence was the immortal god talisman? How could it be so easy to get recognition? Even if Yang Hongwu had the mysterious power in his body and was the reincarnation of an unparalleled expert, he had not truly recovered and awakened. The current him was only a great sage realm ancient martial art practitioner, not even a great emperor realm ancient martial art practitioner. A divine object had its dignity. The immortal god talisman was the supreme divine object in the legends. Naturally, it had its pride. How could it simply recognize an owner? There was only one possibility for such a situation. Unless Yang Hongwu was its original owner and the immortal god talisman was originally his. Chapter 1101. The fusion begins. Yang Hongwu continued to devour the dragon's energy, and his cultivation base began to rise rapidly. At this moment, the heavenly Tao of 9 heavens 10 earths sensed his own origin energy, and it was still disappearing and being devoured. He was terrified. Damn it, what's going on? My origin energy is disappearing? The origin energy of the heavenly Tao of 9 heavens 10 earths had long been sealed, but it didn't weaken. Now his origin energy was disappearing continuously. Once it was completely devoured, he would suffer a huge blow. Moreover, such a loss, such a blow, was unbearable. Originally, his origin energy was sealed. To him, it was already a huge loss. If his origin energy was completely devoured, it would be equivalent to him losing control of the entire 9 heavens 10 earths, and he wouldn't be able to become the heavenly Tao of 9 heavens 10 earths. In this way, it would be too difficult for him to recover his strength. Now, he had recovered quite a bit of his strength. If he lost his origin energy, he would lose control of the 9 heavens 10 earths. Then, his cultivation base would fall again, and it would take a long time for him to recover. Who is it? Who is devouring my origin energy? At this moment, the heavenly Tao of 9 heavens 10 earths was roaring. The entire world was roaring, and the world was trembling. Many people could sense the changes in the heavenly Tao of 9 heavens 10 earths. Some experts were very surprised, especially those Tai true God experts who had just arrived in 9 heavens 10 earths. They were very surprised to discover the changes in the heavenly Tao of 9 heavens 10 earths. The entire 9 heavens 10 earths was in an uproar. Such a situation was truly shocking. Generally speaking, a world, a universe, was very stable. Unless there was an invasion from an external enemy or a change in the origin energy, such a situation would occur. 9 heavens 10 earths had always been very stable. This time, such a change had occurred, and it was very surprising. Of course, there were also some experts from the true God domain who were struggling bitterly. They were being hunted down by Zetian. Zetian's strength was too terrifying. He was a supreme devil, the incarnation of the giant demon Tao Tai. His devouring power was terrifying to the extreme. He could even devour everything in the world. The 9 heavens and 10 earths heavenly Tao also suspected Zetian. He knew that even the experts from the true God domain might not be able to devour and refine his source energy. Now, in the 9 heavens and 10 earths, there was only one person who could do this. That person was Zetian. Therefore, he suspected that the disappearance of his source energy might be related to Zetian. He was devouring and refining his source energy. And in front of him, Zetian was devouring the experts that came down from the true God territory. It was very likely that this was just a facade that he had deliberately created. It was very likely that this was just a doppelganger of his. His true self was somewhere devouring and refining his own source energy. Anger. Thinking of this, the 9 heavens and 10 earths heavenly Tao was very angry. The turbulence of the heavenly Tao became even more terrifying. There were earthquakes and strong winds in many places. Cracks began to appear in the world. Terrifying disasters broke out in many places. Such disasters caused many creatures to die unnatural deaths. And Yang Hongwu did not know about all of this. At this moment, he was in the immortal temple devouring the source energy crazily and cultivating crazily. His cultivation was getting closer to the limit bit by bit, getting closer to the peak bit by bit, but he still could not break through. And at this moment, the Taishang demon was also constantly improving. One was his true self. The other was the incarnation of the true demon. Both of them were constantly improving until they reached the limit. But no matter how much they refined and devoured, they could not improve, and there was no way to break through the bottleneck. This made Yang Hongwu very anxious. True self. According to this situation, it's impossible to break through. I'm afraid that unless you and I combine into one, it's impossible to break through the bottleneck of the great Emperor realm. After a while, the Taishang demon stopped. He had already cultivated to the limit, and there was no way to improve anymore. However, there was no way to break through the bottleneck. Yang Hongwu heard the Taishang demon's words and also stopped cultivating. He knew that what the Taishang demon said was the truth. However, if they were to combine into one now, he really did not have enough confidence. It was just that there was no other choice now. All right, Yang Hongwu nodded. At this moment, only fusion was the only way. Only by combining with the incarnation could he really break through the bottleneck and break through the current realm. However, to break through, the difficulty was not small and the risk was very high. If he was not careful, he could be doomed eternally. Yang Hongwu and the Taishang demon adjusted their state to the peak tacitly. After a while, the Taishang demon turned into a black light and instantly entered Yang Hongwu's body. Yang Hongwu crazily operated the secret technique of I Chi turning Sanqing. At the same time, he was also operating the secret technique of dragon soul devouring heaven, frantically devouring the power around him. When the Taishang demon entered his body, Yang Hongwu felt that the power in his body had increased tremendously. It was as if his whole body was about to explode. The soul of the Taishang demon began to merge with his own soul. Although the Taishang demon was originally one of his true demon incarnations, after all, so much time had passed. After the Taishang demon cultivated, his strength had increased so much. Moreover, he had self-awareness, which made the fusion more difficult. If he did not have self-awareness and his strength did not increase so much, the fusion would be much easier. For Yang Hongwu, the fusion now was very dangerous. However, there was no way out. Since the fusion had already started, there was no way to stop it. The only way was to continue the fusion until it succeeded. If it did not succeed, there would be a huge backlash. This huge backlash was unbearable for Yang Hongwu. Therefore, at this time, Yang Hongwu's willpower was very firm. There was only one thought in his mind, and that was to merge and break through. The fusion of his souls produced a terrible pain. This unbearable pain made Yang Hongwu let out a shrill scream. Not good. Seeing this scene, Elder Zhu was very anxious. It's not a good idea to merge now. Let me give you a hand. Elder Zhu stretched out a hand. A ray of light shot out from his finger and wrapped Yang Hongwu in it. With the help of Elder Zhu, Yang Hongwu felt a majestic power wrapping around his soul. Some ancient words appeared in Yang Hongwu's mind. These ancient words were actually the soul fusion technique, which was also the soul cultivation technique. Chapter 1102. Breaking through to the Emperor realm after an unknown period of time. Yang Hongwu's body shook violently. The entire heaven and earth was filled with boundless energy. Gigantic emperor marks appeared above Yang Hongwu's head. This was the phenomenon of an Emperor realm expert breaking through to the Emperor realm. The Emperor marks that Yang Hongwu condensed were extremely terrifying. They were like gigantic dragons, extremely ferocious and overbearing. It was the symbol of a peerless Emperor realm expert. Powerful. The Emperor marks that Yang Hongwu condensed were much more terrifying than the Emperor marks that ordinary people condensed when breaking through to the Emperor realm. 1 Emperor mark, 2 Emperor marks. A total of 81 Emperor marks were condensed. Furthermore, each and every Emperor mark was extremely thick and solid. It was as if they were pillars that supported the heavens. The runes on them gave off a terrifying, oppressive might. What a guy. He's already so majestic after breaking through to the Emperor realm. He actually condensed 80 Emperor marks. This is an extreme number. Elder Zhu was extremely shocked. Since ancient times, there had never been anyone who could reach such a level when breaking through to the Emperor realm. It could be said that there was no one who could do it in the future. However, he was afraid that no one would be able to reach such a level in the future. With Yang Hongwu's current situation, no one would be able to surpass him in the future. As long as he didn't fall, he would definitely become a peerless expert. He would definitely surpass his master and surpass the immortal true God. The Emperor runes continued to solidify, and the pressure on Yang Hongwu's body continued to rise. His cultivation base continued to grow stronger. After an unknown amount of time, Yang Hongwu finally stopped devouring the surrounding spiritual qi. He opened his eyes, and a bright light shot out. It was as though nothing in the universe could hide from him. I've finally broken through. Yang Hongwu raised his hand and punched out lightly. This punch seemed to have penetrated the void, and even the Supreme Seal barrier was penetrated. Moreover, Yang Hongwu didn't use much strength in this punch. Even Yang Hongwu himself was stunned by this scene. A casual punch from him actually had such power. Before this, Yang Hongwu was the clearest about the strength of this seal. But now, this powerful seal was easily shattered by his own punch. Is this the cultivation base of the great Emperor realm? How powerful! Yang Hongwu felt that his strength was much stronger than before. They were not on the same level at all. If he met Zetian now, Yang Hongwu was confident that even if he couldn't defeat or kill Zetian, he was confident that he wouldn't be defeated. Congratulations, Junior. You've succeeded. Seeing Yang Hongwu come out, Elder Zhu hurriedly said, I have to thank Elder Zhu. If it wasn't for your help, I'm afraid that I wouldn't have succeeded. Yang Hongwu knew that the reason why he could fully integrate with the true devil incarnation was because of the cultivation technique that Elder Zhu gave him at the crucial moment. If it wasn't for that cultivation technique, the possibility of success would be too low. Yang Hongwu didn't have the slightest confidence that he could withstand that kind of pain. If he failed, the consequences would be unimaginable. Therefore, Yang Hongwu was very grateful to Elder Zhu. No need to thank me. This is the result of your own efforts. If your willpower wasn't strong enough and you couldn't withstand that kind of pain, you wouldn't have succeeded. Elder Zhu shook his head and said, Elder Zhu, can you send me out now? Yang Hongwu looked at Elder Zhu and asked, You want to go out now? Elder Zhu was stunned when he heard that and said, Although you've broken through and reached the great sovereign realm, your cultivation realm hasn't stabilized yet. Moreover, once you go out, you'll encounter a lightning tribulation. Moreover, it's not the lightning tribulation of the heavenly Tao, it's the lightning tribulation of the great Tao. It's extremely dangerous. Your talent is too heaven-defying. It's beyond what the heavenly Tao can bear. Therefore, once you go out, not only will you be targeted by the heavenly Tao, you'll become its enemy, and the lightning tribulation of the great Tao will descend from the great Tao. As for what kind of test you'll have to endure, I'm not sure. However, there's one thing that I'm sure of. This test is absolutely not simple. It might endanger your life. Yang Hongwu was shocked when he heard that. He knew that the heavenly Tao was targeting him. The heavenly Tao had always been targeting him. If the heavenly Tao didn't target him, his strength would have reached the great sovereign realm long ago. It was because of the suppression of the heavenly Tao that he couldn't break through to the great sovereign realm for a long time. Now that he had broken through to the great sovereign realm, he didn't care about the heavenly Tao anymore. He didn't need to worry about it anymore. Moreover, he had already refined the origin energy of Jiuqian Shidi. He had already established a connection with Jiuqian Shidi. The heavenly Tao was no longer the ruler of Jiuqian Shidi. It couldn't truly control Jiuqian Shidi. He had become equal to the heavenly Tao. Test of the great Tao? Great Path Lightning Calamity? Elder Zhu, are you kidding me? I'm being targeted by the Great Path now? Yang Hongwu said, Of course it's true. I don't need to lie to you. If you go out now, it'll be quite difficult for you to pass the test of the Great Path. You should know that your cultivation is only at the great sovereign realm. If you're at the Tai true God realm, it won't be too difficult for you to pass the Great Path Lightning Calamity. However, you have to be strong. The gap between the Great Sovereign Realm and the Tai true God realm is huge. It's not an exaggeration to say that it's a world's difference, Elder Zhu said. Elder Zhu, I feel that I'm strong enough to fight against the experts of the Tai true God realm. In the past, I've also met experts of the Tai true God realm. They're not as scary and strong as you said, right? With regard to what Elder Zhu had said, Yang Hongwu was still very doubtful. No matter if it was the few Tai real gods that he had met previously or Zetian, they were not as scary and valiant as Elder Zhu had described. Yang Hongwu was very confident that with his current cultivation and fighting power, he could definitely compete with Zetian. Chapter 1103. Facing danger obviously. Elder Zhu's words were not meant to scare Yang Hongwu. However, Yang Hongwu did not hesitate, nor was he afraid. A martial artist should move forward courageously and not be afraid of death. If he was afraid, why would he become a martial artist? Since he had already stepped onto this path, it was a path of no return. There was no other choice. If he was afraid of death and cared about this and that, he would not have a good ending. Elder Zhu, there is no need to say more. If I were to back off now, my cultivation would not improve in the future, and I would not have the chance to become a top expert. Moreover, I have to go. This is my destiny. If I am unable to pass the Great Tao Lightning Tribulation and resist Zetian's attack, then I can only blame myself for not being skilled enough. Yang Hongwu said, All right, since you are determined, I will not stop you. Elder Zhu sighed. Although he wanted to stop Yang Hongwu, he knew that there was no other way. If Yang Hongwu really agreed with him, perhaps Yang Hongwu would not be Yang Hongwu, and he would not be valued by his master, the immortal true God, nor would he be chosen by the immortal divine talisman. Perhaps it was because of Yang Hongwu's choice and character that the immortal divine talisman would approve of him. Elder Zhu thought for a while and took out a talisman. He handed it to Yang Hongwu and said, I have no way to go out and help you. Therefore, even if you are in danger, you have to rely on yourself. This talisman may be able to help you at a critical moment. Yang Hongwu took the talisman and looked at it. He was pleasantly surprised. This was not an ordinary talisman. It was a talisman at the level of a true treasure. Yang Hongwu could not make such a talisman by himself. This talisman contained a vast amount of energy. When it was released, it was comparable to the attack of a peak Tai true God expert. It was extremely powerful. With such a talisman, it was equivalent to having an additional layer of insurance. No matter what kind of expert he encountered, with such a talisman, it was enough to resist the opponent for a period of time. In this way, if he was not able to defeat the opponent, he could take the opportunity to escape. However, after Yang Hongwu went out, the first danger that he would face would not be a peak Tai true God expert, but the heavenly way and the test to the Great Tao. If there was no way to pass the Great Tao Lightning Tribulation, everything would be fake. Thank you, Elder Zhu. All right, I'll send you out. You have to be careful. Once you leave the Immortal Shrine, you'll be targeted by the Heavenly Tao and the Great Tao. The Heavenly Tao hates you to the core and will do everything it can to deal with you and take back the Great Tao. In addition, the Great Tao's Thunder Tribulation is even more terrifying than the Heavenly Tao. You can't be careless. I know your body is strong, and you can use the Great Tao's Thunder Tribulation to refine your body, but I have to remind you, don't try to use the Great Tao's Thunder Tribulation to refine your body. Your body is far from enough. If you try to cultivate by force, your body will completely collapse, and it'll be too late for you to regret. Yang Hongwu remembered Elder Zhu's words in his heart. If Elder Zhu had not reminded him, Yang Hongwu would have tried to use the Great Tao Lightning Tribulation to refine his body and cultivate the immortal dragon body. Then, after his original body had merged with the real demon incarnation, his physical body had become even stronger. The strength of his physical body had reached the peak of Great Emperor Realm. With the strength of his physical body alone, he could match against an invincible Great Emperor Realm expert. Even an ordinary Tai real god might not be able to break his physical body. It was enough to prove how strong his body was. However, after Elder Zhu's reminder, Yang Hongwu would not take the risk to try. Yang Hongwu knew Elder Zhu's strength very well, and there was no need for Elder Zhu to lie to him. After a ray of light enveloped him, Yang Hongwu felt a tremor. His body suddenly disappeared from a spot. In the next moment, Yang Hongwu appeared in the ancient desolate continent. He appeared above the Sky Dragon mountain range. However, at this moment, the entire ancient desolate continent had undergone a huge change. A terrifying aura shrouded the entire Sky Dragon mountain range and the entire ancient desolate continent. The origin energy of the Heavenly Way had been devoured and refined by Yang Hongwu. The Heavenly Way had undergone a huge change. He could no longer control the power of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. He was no longer the true ruler of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Therefore, he was furious and wanted to control the power of the 9 heavens and 10 earths again. However, it was not that simple. Heavenly Way, you are too naive to think that you can use me. At this moment, Yang Hongwu saw a terrifying figure. He was wearing a purple robe, and his hair was disheveled. However, his eyes were blood red, and his handsome face was filled with an evil smile. In the sky, there was a huge face that looked ferocious and furious. Yang Hongwu sensed that the person in purple robe was none other than Zetian. He was Yang Hongwu's nemesis. On the other side, there was a huge face in the sky. It was the Heavenly Way. Yang Hongwu realized that the surroundings were filled with a terrifying murderous aura and the stench of blood. He thought of the many experts that had descended from the true God territory. These experts were probably all dead. He also saw the resentment surrounding Zetian. That terrifying stench of blood made it clear that these people had died in his hands. What shocked Yang Hongwu was that Zetian's strength had broken through again. He was much stronger than before. How is this a demon that had just entered the undying, true demon realm? This was a terrifying demon that had entered the middle stage of the undying, true demon realm. Now, Yang Hongwu was curious that Zetian was fighting with the 9 heavens and 10 earths Heavenly Way at this moment. However, no matter what the reason was, Yang Hongwu only knew that this was a great thing for him. Whether it was Zetian or the 9 heavens and 10 earths Heavenly Way, they were all powerful enemies to Yang Hongwu. If they perished together, that would be even better. The moment Yang Hongwu appeared, the Heavenly Way sensed it. Zetian also sensed it. The Heavenly Way noticed the change in Yang Hongwu and was incomparably furious. Damn it, it's actually you? Yang Hongwu, you bastard, you actually devoured my origin energy. A huge and dignified voice sounded in this world. The moment the voice appeared, Yang Hongwu felt that he was enveloped by a terrifying force. It was as if he was going to be crushed, completely suppressed, and destroyed. Yang Hongwu knew that the Heavenly Way had made its move. Chapter 1104. Battle of the Heavenly Tao. Yang Hongwu, you're finally out. Seeing that Yang Hongwu had shattered the Heavenly Tao suppression, he appeared not far away from Yang Hongwu in a flash and said, "You surprised me. I didn't expect you to break through to the Great Emperor realm. However, it's just the Great Emperor realm. The gap between us is still too big. Do you know that my cultivation has already reached the mid-stage Tai, true demon realm? You're far from being my opponent. Zetian, don't be too complacent. You're also the target of the Heavenly Tao." Yang Hongwu wasn't worried about the current Zetian. He had already broken through to the Great Emperor realm and had refined the origin energy of Jiutian Shidi. Even if he couldn't defeat Zetian, he should have no problem protecting himself. Haha, it's just the Heavenly Tao. This guy thinks that he can make use of me and control me. He's too naive. Who do you think I, Zetian, am? I'm going to become a supreme, true demon. A mere Heavenly Tao wants to control me? He's overestimating himself. Zetian laughed wildly. He didn't place the Heavenly Tao in his eyes at all. However, speaking of which, I still have to thank him. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have grown so quickly. Of course, all of this is because of you. In the eyes of the Heavenly Tao, you are the thorn in its side. In order to deal with you, it nurtured me. Although he said that, Zetian didn't have a trace of gratitude on his face. Instead, he revealed a mocking expression. Hearing the conversation between Zetian and Yang Hongwu, the heavenly Tao was even more furious. These two bastards actually didn't put the heavenly Tao in their eyes. Despicable, too despicable. He was the controller of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The heavenly Tao of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Everything was under his control. These two fellas were heaven-defying people, deviants of the rules. As someone who broke the rules, he would never allow such a thing to happen. Suppress. He had suppressed them. This was especially true for Yang Hongwu. He had to devour him and refine his source. If Yang Hongwu had a few more days and completely grasped the power of the source, he would not have a chance to defeat Yang Hongwu. You all deserve to die. A majestic voice sounded. A terrifying power appeared in the space where Yang Hongwu and Zetian were, enveloping them. Heaven and earth chi waves rolled, and the void seemed to be on the verge of collapse. Yang Hongwu could sense that the space and the world had been isolated by a powerful and domineering force. Even his connection with the 9 heavens and 10 earths had been severed. Yang Hongwu's expression changed slightly. He had underestimated the heavenly Tao of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. After all, the heavenly Tao had existed for many years. He was an old fox. Moreover, in the 9 heavens and 10 earths, he could sense the thoughts of any living being. Of course, except for a few special people. Since he could sense the thoughts of these people, how could he be so simple? Even those old antiques who had cultivated for many years weren't as cunning as the heavenly Tao. Since he knew that there was a mistake in his plan, how could he not be prepared? Yang Hongwu, are you going to deal with this guy or me? How about we deal with the heavenly Tao first, then deal with the grudge between us? Zetian said. Zetian's words surprised Yang Hongwu. It's up to you, Yang Hongwu said. All right, I'll get rid of the heavenly Tao first. I'll let you know how big the gap between you and me is. If the heavenly Tao of the 9 heavens and 10 earths was at its peak, I might be afraid. However, I don't care about the current heavenly Tao at all. With that, Zetian's entire body became ethereal, as if he was an invisible mass of demonic chi. A long spear appeared in his hand out of thin air. Yang Hongwu had seen this long spear before. It was exactly the same as the soul-devouring bone spear that he had fought over with him. However, although this bone spear looked the same as the previous bone spear, its aura and aura were worlds apart. This bone spear seemed to have a life of its own. The aura on it was very evil, as if it wanted to devour everything. As soon as this long spear appeared, a tyrannical demonic chi appeared at the tip of the bone spear. This demonic chi continued to expand until it turned into a terrifying vortex. This vortex was filled with an unparalleled, devouring power. Looking over again, a huge illusory image appeared around Zetian. It was the illusory image of the Taotai beast. Yang Hongwu recalled that Zetian originally had the Taotai battle body. In fact, Zetian's original body was probably a supreme giant demon. Moreover, it was the overlord of the ancient demons. It could devour and destroy everything. The shadow in front of him was the shadow of that ancient demon. Now that this shadow was starting to solidify, the more solid it was, the stronger and more terrifying it was. Especially that pair of demonic eyes. When they looked at Yang Hongwu felt a throbbing in the depths of his soul. It was as if there was some special connection between him and that pair of demonic eyes of that Taotai demon. Devour the heavens and earth. Zetian roared and thrust the long spear forward. The seal of the heavens and earth was instantly penetrated. The barrier of the void was broken. The huge face condensed by the heavens and earth in the void seemed to be torn apart. A terrifying force instantly broke through the entire sky. The barrier of the void seemed to be torn apart by a terrifying force, becoming like a spiderweb that cracked open. Power of the heavens and earth, in my name, suppress. Suppress. The domineering voice of the heavens and earth resounded once again. Huge ancient characters appeared between the heavens and earth. These huge, ancient characters were very powerful. Yang Hongwu could clearly feel that the power of the laws of the 9 heavens and 10 earths was being mobilized. This was the power of the entire 9 heavens and 10 earths. After all, the heavens and 10 earths were still the heavens and 10 earths heavenly Tao. Although there was no way to fully mobilize the power of the entire 9 heavens and 10 earths, the power within this small space could still be mobilized. Although Zetian was powerful, the current Zetian hadn't completely grasped the power of the Tai True Demon and was unable to fully unleash his powerful combat strength. His control of the power of laws was far inferior to the heavens. Therefore, although Zetian's attack was powerful, it hadn't hurt the heavens' bones. Instead, it had allowed the heavens to seize the opportunity. Those huge, ancient characters bombarded Zetian's body and sent Zetian flying. He was thrown into the turbulent void and exiled. Chapter 11:05. Spear of Slaughter, little bastard, it's your turn now. If you give me my origin energy, I can spare your life. Tian Dao looked at Yang Hongwu. Yang Hongwu sneered when he heard this. You want me to spit out my origin energy? You're dreaming, do you know that? Are you courting death? The gigantic face of heavens will turn ferocious, as if it was a gigantic devil. The entire world went crazy. The aura surged, and the heaven and earth Yuan Qi went berserk in an instant, as if it had encountered something terrifying. Tian Dao was rioting, and a terrifying power was wreaking havoc. Courting death? Haha. Tian Dao, you think too highly of yourself. Zetian is right. If you were at your peak, I really wouldn't dare to go against you. But now, you're just an arrow at the end of its flight. A mere Tian Dao that has lost its origin energy. Do you think I care? Besides, although I haven't completely refined the origin energy of Jiutian Shidi, I can be considered half the master of Jiutian Shidi. You might not have as much power as I do. Do you think I'm afraid of you? You can't do anything to me now. Yang Hongwu sneered at Tian Dao. In fact, Yang Hongwu was also gambling. He was gambling that Tian Dao couldn't do anything to him. Moreover, Yang Hongwu didn't want to waste time on Tian Dao. After all, his most important enemy now wasn't Tian Dao, but the Great Dao Lightning Tribulation. That was what he really needed to worry about. It was his true test. Do you really think I don't have a way? Tian Dao was furious. I just don't want trouble. I don't want to use my power. Since you don't know what's good for you, then die. After saying that, Tian Dao turned into a terrifying shadow. This shadow looked like a dragon, but it wasn't a dragon. It looked like a snake, but it wasn't a snake. It was a strange shadow. This strange shadow gave Yang Hongwu a huge pressure. This pressure was something he had never felt before. This made Yang Hongwu extremely shocked. This was a throbbing sensation that came from the depths of his soul. The heavenly Tao was indeed not so easy to deal with. Be careful, Yang Hongwu. This is the killing power of the heavenly Tao. It's the most terrifying technique of the heavenly Tao. The greatest technique of every heavenly Tao isn't the eye of heavenly punishment, but the killing power. It's the power to destroy the world. At this moment, a voice appeared in the depths of Yang Hongwu's sea of consciousness. It was Shi Bao's voice. Shi Bao had awakened again. Yang Hongwu was overjoyed. Shi Bao had an extraordinary background and was very knowledgeable. Since she knew about the heavenly axiom's last resort, she should know how to deal with it. That's great. Shi Bao, you finally awakened. The heavenly Tao's attack is just too bizarre. You said that it's a killing force. How do we deal with the heavenly Tao's killing force? Then, you must have a solution, right? Yang Hongwu asked. It's not difficult to deal with the killing power. There are ways to deal with it. Have you forgotten what cultivation method you use to cultivate? Shi Bao asked. You mean the killing fist of all directions? Hearing this, Yang Hongwu remembered the cultivation method he used to cultivate. It was the killing fist of all directions. Only the killing fist of all directions could devour the killing power to cultivate. Moreover, the stronger and stronger the killing power was, the more helpful it would be to him. That's right, it's the 10-direction killing fist. However, it can be used to deal with ordinary killing forces. However, It's not enough to deal with the heavenly Tao's final trump card. It requires the help of other forces, Bauer said. Another power? Yang Hongwu was slightly taken aback when he heard this. What kind of power do you need? Combine it with the devouring skill. You've cultivated the devouring skill and achieved the supreme devouring real body. You could do it if you combine the killing fist of all directions with the devouring real body. However, you don't have time to study it or try it now. This is the only way, Bauer said. I'll give a try. Yang Hongwu nodded. You don't have to give a try. You must succeed. If you don't succeed, you'll die. Bauer said. You should know that this is just the beginning of your crisis. The heavenly axiom of all heavens and 10 earths is just a test of the great Tao. The real test is yet to come. What? You're saying that this is just the beginning of the test? This is the test of the great Tao? Yang Hongwu's face darkened. What else? Bauer said grumpily. Of course, if you can kill the heavenly axiom avatar, your strength will improve. You'll be able to master the origin power of all heavens and 10 earths. At that time, you'll be able to compete with ordinary Tai true gods. All of this was beyond Yang Hongwu's expectation. He did not expect that this was just one of the tests of the great Tao. It seemed that the real test of the great Tao had just begun. Although the conversation between the two was long, it only lasted for a breath's time. At this time, the killing power of the heavenly axiom had turned into a terrifying killing spear and bombarded Yang Hongwu. This killing spear was the projection of a real divine weapon from antiquity times. Although it was not the real body, its power was still very terrifying. The heavenly axiom of all heavens and 10 earths was, in fact, just one of the 3,000 minor axioms under the great Tao. However, the killing spear was a supreme divine weapon. It was very powerful and terrifying. It was the physical body of the great Tao, the supreme killing Tao. Of course, Yang Hongwu was not aware of all this. His strength was still too weak. Although he had reached the Great Emperor Realm, the Great Emperor Realm was just the beginning of the real cultivation path. Killing fist of all directions, merge the killing power into my body. Runes condensed on Yang Hongwu's body. These were the runes of the devouring real body. Together with the fist print condensed by the killing fist of all directions, he looked like a mighty true god. Devouring real body, condensed for me. Following Yang Hongwu's shout, a strong light burst out from Yang Hongwu's body. It was like a small sun, illuminating the whole world. Then, this strong light underwent a great change. It suddenly dimmed, turning from bright to dark. The moment the killing spear touched it, the light disappeared. In the next moment, a huge black hole appeared, madly devouring the killing power. Chapter 1106. The Heavenly Tao's Threat. Impossible. This is impossible. The Heavenly Tao roared. I don't believe that you could devour my chi of slaughter. Spear of slaughter, go. The Heavenly Tao was enraged. Another spear of slaughter appeared. This spear of slaughter was even more powerful and terrifying than the previous one. It brought with it an unparalleled pressure and surging chi of slaughter as it tore through the sky. Yang Hongwu snorted coldly. He was not afraid at all. Yang Hongwu was still very worried at the beginning. His body had almost collapsed under the impact of the terrifying chi of slaughter. If he hadn't cultivated the immortal dragon body and the devouring real body, he wouldn't have been able to withstand the impact of this terrifying power. However, this powerful chi of slaughter didn't cause him any harm. Instead, it gave him a chance to refine his body. Yang Hongwu realized that his body had become stronger after devouring the chi of slaughter. There was a faint special change that made his body even more powerful. Yang Hongwu even felt that his body was transforming into a supreme treasure body. This wasn't an ordinary supreme treasure body, but a body of slaughter. It was as if his body could become a spear of slaughter. The chi of slaughter was indeed a terrifying power. His physical body was transforming into the essence of the spear of slaughter. Yang Hongwu was pleasantly surprised, but also a little worried. Although Yang Hongwu wasn't too sure what kind of existence the spear of slaughter was, it was definitely not an ordinary existence. It was bound to be extremely terrifying. At the very least, it wasn't something that he could come into contact with at his level. If it was a real spear of slaughter, how terrifying would it be? Of course, besides causing Yang Hongwu to be shocked, it also made his goal even clearer. It was that one day, he would become an existence that grasped the spear of slaughter and the supreme divine talisman, and he would become the master of these supreme divine treasures. Even the legendary Fortune Gate would be under his control, and he would become the master of the Supreme Gate. Yang Hongwu had heard some news about the Fortune Heavenly Gate. The 8 great divine talismans were something that came out of the Fortune Heavenly Gate, and they seemed to be very powerful. As for whether there were more powerful things that came out of the Fortune Heavenly Gate, he didn't know. No one knew what kind of existence existed within the Fortune Heavenly Gate. Yang Hongwu was frantically refining the slaughter chi. His fleshly body was becoming stronger. His cultivation base was constantly consolidating, and his strength was becoming more and more powerful. For Yang Hongwu, this was an excellent opportunity to let his strength increase crazily. Yang Hongwu knew very well that the more his strength increased, the more he realized that he wasn't strong enough. In this world, he was not considered an expert at all. In front of a real expert, he was also an ant. Compared to before, he was just a slightly stronger ant. The so-called Great Emperor Realm experts were considered super experts in the eyes of ordinary people. However, in front of those mysterious existences, they were just slightly stronger ants. They were existences that were controlled and could be easily destroyed. This was what Yang Hongwu was unwilling to accept. He wanted to become stronger and more powerful. He wanted to become a supreme expert, master the supreme Fortune Heavenly Gate, and master the core of the entire Great Thousand Cosmos. Damn it, damn it! Tian Dao realized that his spear of slaughter was easily disintegrated when it came to Yang Hongwu. Furthermore, the slaughter chi was integrated into Yang Hongwu's body. He also felt that Yang Hongwu's body was changing and becoming stronger. This made Tian Dao very helpless and angry. However, he had no way to deal with Yang Hongwu now. His most powerful move was the Spear of Slaughter. Now that even the Spear of Slaughter couldn't deal with Yang Hongwu, other methods were simply impossible. Suddenly, Tian Dao's huge face revealed a sinister smile. He shouted, "Yang Hongwu, stop now. If you don't stop and hand over my origin source, I will kill all your family and friends." As he spoke, Tian Dao stretched out a huge hand and grabbed a person. "It's her." Seeing the person who was grabbed, Yang Hongwu's face changed slightly. Although this person wasn't Yang Hongwu's woman, they had a good relationship. This person was a woman that he had met in the ancient desolate continent. She was Hai Yuqiong of the Sea God Institute. "Yang Hongwu, it's you?" Hai Yuqiong was surprised to see Yang Hongwu. Yang Hongwu's aura was too strong. She was a smart person. At this time, she knew why she was captured. It turned out that she was Yang Hongwu's enemy. She wanted to deal with Yang Hongwu. She smiled bitterly in her heart. The gap between her and Yang Hongwu was too big. How long had it been? Her cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds. Now, she had reached the venerable realm. She thought that she could surpass Yang Hongwu, but now she knew that the gap between her and Yang Hongwu was too big. Yang Hongwu's strength and cultivation had reached an unimaginable level. It was a level that she couldn't imagine. "I'm sorry. I put you in danger." Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly. The people closest to him were in the immortal mansion in his inner world. Although Hai Yuqiong had a good relationship with him, it wasn't to the point that he could send her into his inner world. But he didn't expect that Tian Dao would be so shameless. It actually used this method to threaten him. If it was someone else, they wouldn't care about such a threat from Tian Dao. But Yang Hongwu wouldn't. He wouldn't watch Hai Yuqiong or anyone else get killed by Tian Dao because of him. "Maybe this is my fate. You don't have to care about me," Hai Yuqiong said. "I'm not related to you." After Hai Yuqiong finished speaking, she shouted at Tian Dao, "Why did you capture me? Yang Hongwu and I just know each other. I'm not related to him. It's useless even if you capture me." "Haha, is that so?" Tian Dao's face was ferocious. His laughter made people's hair stand on end. Yang Hongwu thought in his heart, How was this the heavenly Tao? This was simply the demonic Tao. It was even more uncomfortable than the demonic Tao. Yang Hongwu, you can try. If you don't hand over my origin power, I will capture everyone you know and kill them in front of you. Tian Dao looked at Yang Hongwu and said loudly. Chapter 1107. It was the power of the divine talisman again. Zetian, it's you. Yang Hongwu felt a little surprised. Could it be that this guy was deliberately released by the heavenly Tao again? However, that didn't seem right. The heavenly Tao was very afraid of Zetian. I could let him go again. Wasn't this looking for trouble for himself? One had to know that Zetian was also covetously eyeing his origin energy. Or perhaps the heavenly Tao had no way to deal with him, so it pulled Zetian over again. It wanted to make him and Zetian suffer together. This was even more impossible. The heavenly Tao still had the upper hand now. Yang Hongwu, you're really too embarrassing. You actually fell into such a dilemma for an insignificant woman. You've really disappointed me. Let me help you deal with such an insignificant woman. As he spoke, Zetian raised his right hand. A black aura shot out from his finger. It was like a sharp arrow that attacked Hai Yuqiang. Yang Hongwu's expression changed. Zetian, don't mess around. Haha, I'm helping you out of your current predicament. It's for your own good. There's no need to thank me. Zetian laughed wildly. Damn it, Yang Hongwu roared. With a thought, the power of the law erupted. The power of the entire world was mobilized by Yang Hongwu. This was the power of the law of Jiuqian Shidi. Now that Yang Hongwu had refined a part of the origin energy of Jiuqian Shidi, he could truly control a part of the power of the law. Therefore, at this time, he was able to erupt with such a powerful power. Of course, the heavenly Tao wouldn't let Zetian have his way. It also erupted with power. He had to block Zetian's attack. He knew that if Hai Yuqiang really died, Yang Hongwu would definitely go crazy, and he would lose such an opportunity to threaten Yang Hongwu. He could see that Yang Hongwu cared a lot about his family and friends. The three forces clashed together. Zetian was pushed back, and the heavenly Tao was not in a good state either. After being hit by this force, it lost control of Hai Yuqiang. And Yang Hongwu mobilized the power of heaven and earth, instantly enveloping Hai Yuqiang. I'm sorry for putting you in danger. Looking at Hai Yuqiang, who was still in shock, Yang Hongwu said apologetically, It's okay. It's not your fault. Hai Yuqiang smiled bitterly. It's my honor to be able to get involved in such a battle. All right, go into my inner world first. It's safer there. I can't take care of you here. After Yang Hongwu finished speaking, he didn't care about Hai Yuqiang's objection and sent her into the immortal pagoda space. After doing all this, Yang Hongwu looked at the heavenly Tao and Zetian. At this time, the heavenly Tao and Zetian were confronting each other. The heavenly Tao was very angry with Zetian. Heavenly Tao, oh heavenly Tao, TSK, what a good plan. I said that I would kill you first before dealing with the grudge between me and Yang Hongwu. But I didn't expect that you would want to banish me. Is that possible? Zetian sneered. A little heavenly Tao wants to banish me. Too naive. Zetian, you were just a chess piece I created to deal with Yang Hongwu. Now, you actually want to turn the tables and escape my control. You will bear serious consequences for this. If you help me take down Yang Hongwu now, I can forget everything you have done before. Otherwise, you won't be able to bear the consequences. The heavenly Tao's majestic voice sounded again. Ha! Ha! Zetian heard this and laughed wildly. Are you still threatening me? I'm your chess piece, but aren't you my chess piece as well? Heavenly Tao, oh, heavenly Tao, do you think I don't know? If it wasn't for the fact that I hadn't grown up yet, I would have killed you long ago. I, Zetian, am an unparalleled true demon. My original strength is far from what you can imagine. If you want to control me, it's simply a fool's dream. Since it's you, I will devour you first. After devouring you, my strength will improve by another step. With that, Zetian's whole body exploded. Once again, a terrifying giant beast phantom appeared in his body. This giant beast phantom opened its mouth, and the whole world fell into darkness. That was the ominous demon Tao Tai. an unparalleled ominous demon. It actually wanted to devour the whole universe and this world. Yang Hongwu was shocked. The heavenly Tao was even more shocked. I didn't expect you to hide so deeply. However, do you really think it's all I have? The heavenly Tao snorted coldly. A sacred light condensed in the void. That sacred light was full of ancient runes. It was an ancient and sacred aura. Yang Hongwu's whole body trembled. This was the aura of a divine talisman. It was definitely a divine talisman. It was not an ordinary thing. Only a divine talisman could have such a noble, mysterious, powerful, and majestic aura. What a powerful and mysterious power. Zetian narrowed his eyes. However, the ferocious demonic beast did not retreat because of the appearance of the mysterious rune. Instead, it appeared to be very excited. The giant beast suddenly moved its feet and instantly turned into a black shadow. It charged towards the mysterious rune. Its huge mouth looked as if it wanted to swallow everything in an instant. Ancient god, suppressing demon talisman, suppress. With a majestic roar, the ancient and mysterious rune suddenly burst out with a strong light. This strong light made people unable to open their eyes. This power was so strong that it made Yang Hongwu's heart tremble. This was the real power from ancient times, the real power of a divine talisman. The origin of the heavenly Tao was too unexpected. Yang Hongwu looked at the golden rune that instantly sent the giant beast flying. The shock in his heart was indescribable. The heavenly Tao had hidden his cultivation and powerful trump card. Yang Hongwu was very clear about Zetian's strength. If he were to fight with Zetian, he would definitely lose. After all, Zetian's cultivation realm was far higher than his. Although he was strong, he was only a great emperor. Zetian was equivalent to the middle stage Tai true god realm. One could imagine how powerful he was. However, Zetian had been blasted away by the mysterious talisman and the powerful talisman, and it seemed as if he didn't have the slightest ability to resist. If the heavenly Tao had used such a method at the beginning, he would not have the strength to fight back. Chapter 1108. Great Tao lightning tribulation appears. Yang Hongwu nodded. This was indeed the truth. If the heavenly Tao really had a divine talisman, why would it wait until now to deal with him? After sending Zetian flying, the heavenly Tao didn't feel happy. Instead, it seemed very solemn as it looked in the direction where Zetian was sent flying. It seemed very nervous. Yang Hongwu also felt it. Although the divine talisman was powerful and had easily sent Zetian flying, how could Zetian be so easy to deal with? If Zetian was so easy to kill, he would have been killed by Yishiwen a long time ago. What a powerful force. Is this the power of the divine talisman? It's a pity that this isn't the power of the divine talisman itself. It's just a projection. A black light flashed, and Zetian appeared again. At this time, Zetian seemed to be even stronger. His aura seemed to have weakened, but Yang Hongwu knew that Zetian was getting more and more familiar with his power. Zetian, you're too arrogant. Today, I'll destroy you first. The heavenly Tao was completely enraged. Heaven and earth roared furiously as waves of killing intent appeared. These killing intents of the heavenly Tao were even more powerful and terrifying than the killing intent from before. Among these killing intents of the heavenly Tao, there were terrifying runes. These runes were exactly the same as the divine talisman projection from before. Obviously, these powers also came from the divine talisman. Yang Hongwu narrowed his eyes as well. This Zetian had really done him a huge favor. Now, he had enough time to grasp the power of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. He had to grasp the source energy of the 9 heavens and 10 earths and control the entire 9 heavens and 10 earths. Every time Zetian clashed with the heavenly Tao would be distracted a little. A portion of its power would be dispersed, and Yishiwen would be able to control a portion of the nomological power. If this continued, when Yishiwen truly mastered the nomological power of Jiutian Shidi and became the true ruler of Jiutian Shidi, the heavenly Tao wouldn't be a concern. Even Zetian and Yang Hongwu wouldn't have to worry about it. Of course, Yang Hongwu was also very clear that when Zetian was fighting against Tian Dao, his strength was also constantly increasing. He was not the only one who had benefited. In fact, Yang Hongwu knew that if he joined forces with Tian Dao to get rid of Zetian at this time, it would be the best opportunity to get rid of Zetian. After all, compared to Tian Dao, Zetian was a more terrifying enemy. In other words, he was Yang Hongwu's true opponent, a true enemy. As for Tian Dao, it was just a small threshold under the great Dao, a small test. However, Yang Hongwu also understood that only one side could exist between him and the heavenly Tao. He had refined the origin power of Jiutian Shidi, which was equivalent to fighting for the entire Jiutian Shidi with the heavenly Tao. The importance of Jiutian Shidi to the heavenly Tao was imaginable. At this moment, Zetian and the heavenly Tao were locked in a fierce battle. Yang Hongwu's strength was constantly increasing. Suddenly, Yang Hongwu's face changed. In the sky, a terrifying light appeared. A terrifying pressure came through the entire Jiutian Shidi. This was the power of the Supreme Void. The Great Path Thunder Tribulation had arrived. Damn it, why did the Great Path Thunder Tribulation appear at this time? Yang Hongwu's face was solemn. Although he knew that the Great Path Thunder Tribulation would appear after he left the Immortal Shrine, he didn't expect it to come at this time. His strength was still at a critical juncture. Yang Hongwu was confident that if he waited for another 2 hours, his strength would be able to improve further. But now it was impossible. At this moment, the heavenly Tao and Zetian also felt the terrifying pressure. The two of them stopped fighting. Great Path Thunder Tribulation? How is this possible? The heavenly Tao's face was extremely gloomy. For him, this wasn't a good thing. Although the Great Path Thunder Tribulation was targeted at Yang Hongwu and not him, the appearance of the Great Path Thunder Tribulation meant that the Great Path recognized Yang Hongwu as the master of Jiutian Shidi. If he really survived the Great Path Thunder Tribulation, it meant that he would completely lose control of Jiutian Shidi and lose the identity and status of the heavenly Tao of Jiutian Shidi. This was something he couldn't bear. Once he lost Jiutian Shidi, his strength would be greatly reduced. One should know that more than 90% of his strength originally came from Jiutian Shidi. If he lost Jiutian Shidi, the consequences could be imagined. It's actually the Great Path Thunder Tribulation. This is really surprising. Zetian didn't think much of it. He was just surprised. For him, the arrival of the Great Path Thunder Tribulation didn't cause him any loss at all. Of course, if Yang Hongwu survived the Great Path Thunder Tribulation, he would only have one more powerful opponent. If Yang Hongwu failed, it was nothing. There was no loss to him. However, if Yang Hongwu failed, Yang Hongwu would completely disappear because of this. In this way, he would have some regrets in his heart because he couldn't kill Yang Hongwu with his own hands. After all, Yang Hongwu had always been his fated opponent. Yang Hongwu, I hope you don't die under the Great Path Thunder Tribulation. If you die like this, I will be too disappointed, Zetian said loudly. When Yang Hongwu heard this, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. At this time, Zetian actually said such words. He was Yang Hongwu's sworn enemy. Back in the ancient wilderness continent, he hated Yang Hongwu to the core. Now, from his tone, it seemed that he didn't want Yang Hongwu to fail like this. This made Yang Hongwu sigh. It was hard to find a confidant and a confidant, but in fact, an opponent was equally hard to find. For a long time, Zetian was also his enemy. If it weren't for Zetian, Yang Hongwu wouldn't have grown so quickly. Zetian, don't worry. Before you die, I will definitely not fail. After Yang Hongwu finished speaking, his aura changed again. It was as if he was a supreme god. A bright light shot out from his eyes, and his whole person was filled with a strong fighting spirit. All of you must die. At this time, Tian Dao saw that Yang Hongwu and Zetian didn't put him in their eyes at all. This made him very angry. Great Path? So what if they were Great Path? Those who stood in his way would all be killed and destroyed. Chapter 1109. Variant Thunder Tribulation. The pressure of the heavenly path was incomparable. At this time, Yang Hongwu was already struggling under the pressure of the great path. He did not expect that the heavenly path would intervene at this time. Zetian's expression also changed drastically. B****, you're crazy. Lightning tribulation of the great path. This is lightning tribulation of the great path. If you want to die, don't drag me down with you. Zetian was furious. The thunder tribulation of the great path was no joke. It was extremely terrifying. No one had ever dared to provoke it under the thunder tribulation of the great path, unless the other party was strong enough to compete with the great path or even surpass the power of the great path. However, it was too difficult. In the 9 heavens and 10 earths, no one had such ability. Even the heavenly Tao at its peak was far from qualified. The power of the great Tao was supreme. No one could provoke him, not even the heavenly Tao. At this moment, the heavenly Tao had attacked Yang Hongwu. This was a provocation to the great Tao. This way, the wrath of the great Tao was no laughing matter. The pressure of the great path was inviolable. Although Zetian wasn't afraid of anything, challenging the great path when she knew that she wasn't strong enough was definitely an act of suicide. Boom! With a loud bang, a terrifying bolt of lightning appeared in the sky. It was a golden bolt of lightning. This bolt of lightning instantly turned a part of the space into nothingness. How powerful and terrifying was this power? This space was now a special space. Even an expert at the peak of Tai Real God Realm would not be able to break it. However, under the Great Way Thunder Calamity, it was like a piece of paper that was turned into nothingness. It could be seen that the Great Way Thunder Calamity was ferocious. Yang Hongwu also smiled bitterly. The pressure of the Great Path and the thunder tribulation of the Great Path were terrifying. Yang Hongwu, you have to be careful. Your Great Path thunder tribulation wasn't supposed to be this frightening. However, because of the heavenly path, your Great Path thunder tribulation has become extremely frightening. It's thousands of times stronger than before, perhaps even more frightening, Sir Bauer said in a grave tone. He did not expect that things would develop like this. Under the lightning tribulation of the Great Path, the heavenly path actually dared to intervene. What should I do now? The lightning tribulation of the Great Path is so frightening, and the pressure is so terrifying. I don't have the slightest bit of confidence now. Even if I use the life seal, I might not be able to withstand it. Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly. These words were true. In front of this powerful pressure, even Yang Hongwu felt his own insignificance. He actually had the urge to sit down and wait for death. Just this aura alone was enough to make him feel this way. If the thunder tribulation of the Great Path really came down, how could he resist it? If he didn't even have confidence in himself, how could he possibly survive the lightning tribulation? It's not impossible, Sir Bauer said. What is it? Yang Hongwu hurriedly said. As long as I survive the lightning tribulation of the Great Path, my strength will increase a lot. At that time, everything will be easy. The heavenly path has angered the Great Path, and Zetian is a demonic cultivator. Therefore, they will share a large part of the lightning tribulation of the Great Path. Therefore, you still have a chance. What you bear is only 40% of the lightning tribulation of the Great Path, Sir Bauer said. 40%. Even if it's only 40% of its power, it's still very powerful. Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly. This was thousands of times stronger than the normal lightning tribulation of the Great Path. Even the normal lightning tribulation of the Great Path would not be easy to survive, let alone the strengthened version of the lightning tribulation of the Great Path. You think too much. I was just scaring you. Although the current lightning tribulation of the Great Path is powerful, it's not thousands of times stronger. It's only 10 times stronger. However, even if it's only 10 times stronger, it's still very powerful. What you have to bear is the lightning tribulation of the Great Path that's 10 times stronger than normal, Sir Bauer said. Therefore, you still have a chance. 10 times? That means I only have to bear twice the power of the lightning tribulation of the Great Path? Theoretically, yes. However, even if it's twice the power, it's still difficult for you to withstand it. After all, it's already very difficult for you to survive the normal lightning tribulation of the Great Path. Now that its power has increased, it's even more difficult. Fortunately, Zetion and the Heavenly Path are here. If you make good use of them, you still have a chance to succeed, Sherbauer said. There's not much time left. Your lightning tribulation has already descended. You have to figure it out yourself. At this time, Sherbauer had fallen into a deep sleep. No matter how Yang Hongwu called him, he would not respond. Boom! With a loud bang, a terrible golden thunderbolt blasted down. At this time, the giant face that the Heavenly Path had transformed into was bombarded by the thunderbolt and instantly became illusory. Yang Hongwu felt that the Heavenly Path's power had been greatly reduced by this thunderbolt. On the other side, Zetion was also in a difficult position. Under the lightning tribulation of the Great Path, its power was ferocious. Zetion was also sent flying in an instant. He looked as miserable as a beggar. There was no trace of his previous arrogance. Immortal dragon body, open. Devouring real body, open. In an instant, Yang Hongwu released his state to the highest level. Behind him, the vision of the 9 dragons was majestic. The dragons roared. His whole person was like an ancient war god. In his hand, there was a huge seal that faintly flashed all living things. Boom! The golden thunderbolt blasted Yang Hongwu. The huge seal emitted a light. It was the light of life which blocked the attack. The Great Seal of Life. You actually obtained the Great Seal of Life? Yang Hongwu's body shook. In the distance, Zetion and the Heavenly Path saw Yang Hongwu's Great Seal of Life. They were furious. Although the two of them were stronger than Yang Hongwu, they did not have such a treasure. They were very clear that the Great Seal of Life was not the so-called top true treasure. It was an existence that surpassed true treasures. Therefore, there were so many experts who were scrambling for the Great Seal of Life. However, no matter how much these experts wanted to obtain this powerful treasure, there was nothing they could do. This was because in order to obtain the Life Great Seal, they had to first obtain the seal's acknowledgement. Without the acknowledgement of the Life Great Seal, there was simply no way to obtain the Life Great Seal. The Great Seal of Life was incomparably mysterious. When one did not want to obtain it, no one would be able to obtain it. However, Yang Hongwu actually obtained the Great Seal of Life and could even use it. He had truly obtained the recognition of the Great Seal of Life. How could the two of them not be jealous? Who? Chapter 11:10. Changes experts to sin. Of course, although Yang Hongwu was injured compared to Tian Dao and Zetion, his injuries were much lighter. However, the current situation was not optimistic. How could the lightning tribulation of the Great Path be so simple? Just one bolt of lightning tribulation was already so terrifying. There were at least 9 bolts of lightning tribulation of the Great Path. It might even be 27 bolts of lightning tribulation, which was the 39 thunder tribulation. The strongest was the 99 thunder tribulation. The true 99 thunder tribulation was extremely terrifying. If the thunder tribulation of the Great Path reached the extreme number of 99, it would be extremely terrifying. It could easily destroy a part of the universe. Yang Hongwu didn't want to encounter such a terrifying lightning tribulation. If that happened, he would be dead. There was no possibility of survival. Boom! The first thunder tribulation did not kill the 3 of them. The thunder tribulation of the Great Path struck down once again. The power of thunder and lightning seemed ordinary, but it contained the supreme power of the Great Path. This supreme power of the Great Path was abnormally terrifying. The golden truth of the Great Path was born with runes. When it struck down, it could tear everything apart. For some people, these great Tao runes could cleanse the body and be of great help. Of course, there was a limit to it. If there was no way to resist it, then it would be a disaster. When Yang Hongwu had gone through the first lightning tribulation, his body had undergone some subtle changes. However, Yang Hongwu did not feel these subtle changes. At this time, he did not have the time to feel these subtle changes. Instead, he had to find a way to deal with the terrible thunder tribulation. If he could not resist the thunder tribulation of the Great Path, he would die. Without life, everything was fake. Damn it. Zetion's expression changed when he saw the second lightning tribulation descending. He transformed into a giant beast, the Taotai beast. Runes of devouring appeared on the body of this giant beast. Yang Hongwu was familiar with these runes. These runes were very similar to the runes of the devouring true body that he had cultivated. The devouring power seemed to come from the same source. As for which devouring rune was stronger and which one was the real devouring rune, it was unknown. The giant beast opened its huge mouth and swallowed the lightning tribulation that was attacking Zetion. Zetion's face became distorted after he swallowed the power of the golden lightning tribulation. He looked very ferocious. The great pain made Zetion feel uncomfortable at all. However, what shocked Yang Hongwu was not the Zetion, but the heavenly Tao. At this moment, an extremely disgusting aura appeared in the heavenly Tao. A huge crack appeared in the void, and a mass of black light shot out from the huge crack. The black light instantly entered the huge face of the heavenly Tao and merged with the heavenly Tao. Gradually, the heavenly Tao changed and turned into a human figure. This human figure slowly solidified. What shocked Yang Hongwu was that this figure was surprisingly similar to himself. He waved his hand, and a terrible power burst out. The lightning tribulation was easily deflected. After the lightning tribulation was neutralized, he waved his hand again, and a black light shot towards Yang Hongwu. Yang Hongwu was shocked. He did not know why this guy had suddenly become so strong. Yang Hongwu wanted to resist. The power of the life seal condensed, but he found that the black light had actually neutralized the lightning tribulation that descended from the Great Path. This action made Yang Hongwu puzzled. Was this guy an enemy or a friend? Yang Hongwu couldn't figure it out. This guy is an enemy, not a friend. At this moment, Shi Bao's voice sounded in the depths of Yang Hongwu's consciousness. He was very nervous, and his tone was very serious. Yang Hongwu had never seen Shi Bao so nervous. "You're too weak. You haven't grown up yet. You've disappointed me," the man said. His tone was light, and he looked disappointed. "Who are you?" Yang Hongwu took a deep breath. It went without saying that a person who could easily neutralize the lightning tribulation of the Great Path was terrifyingly powerful. "Mo Tianquang, you can't hold it in anymore? You're too impatient." At this moment, Zetion also changed. Compared to before, his aura had also undergone a huge change. His aura was surging, and the huge shadow of the giant beast on his body was even more terrifying. The power of devouring kept flickering, as if it was going to devour everything. "Xiong Shi, you're here too." Mo Tianquang waved his hand, and a black power turned into a sharp arrow and shot towards Zetion. "Mo Tianquang, you still haven't improved." Zetion, who was called Xiong Shi, smiled and condensed a small black hole, which instantly devoured the power. At this moment, Yang Hongwu was confused. Who were these two people? Tian Dao and Zetion. Were they possessed by these two people? Where did they come from? "Xiong Shi, he's mine," Mo Tianquang said coldly. "Don't get in my way." Mo Tianquang's tone was extremely arrogant. The malevolent aura around him was like a torrential wave that was extremely ferocious. "What a joke. Mo Tianquang, he's mine. You, Mo Tianquang, want to snatch him away from me? Dream on," Xiong Shi said coldly. "As long as I refine him and obtain the life seal, I can become a supreme, true demon. You want to become a supreme, true demon just to save you? Aren't you afraid of being laughed at?" Mo Tianquang mocked. His hands were not idle, as a boundless demonic power turned into a gigantic palm that grabbed at Yang Hongwu. That gigantic palm covered the entire sky. Yang Hongwu could feel that he couldn't move at all. In the face of this horrifying power, he was just like an ant that couldn't fight back at all. This had Yang Hongwu feeling extremely dejected. This was too strong. He couldn't even breathe, so how could he fight back? He could only watch as the other party made a move on him. "Yang Hongwu, you can't be discouraged. They're all old antiques that have cultivated for countless years. They are powerful existences from the higher realms. They are experts that have surpassed the true God region. It's very normal that you aren't their opponent. Also, there's a powerful energy in your body. If you can activate that energy, you'll be even stronger than them. You're also an existence that has surpassed the higher realms. You're also an existence that surpasses the upper realm, Sure Bauer said. Therefore, the only thing you can do now is to activate that mysterious and powerful force in your body. I don't have the time now. Furthermore, I can't even sense that supreme force that you're talking about. How can I activate it? Yang Hongwu said. Chapter 1111. The beginning of dual cultivation. Cultivate to the 9th transformation of yin-yang. Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly in his heart. This was not a big problem. He was already at the 7th transformation of yin-yang. As long as he dual cultivated with by Yiran and Xianming, he would be able to reach the 9th transformation of yin-yang and cultivate the 9th heaven divine dragon technique. Originally, Yang Hongwu planned to dual cultivate with the 2 women if he could not break through to the Great Emperor realm. He did not expect that he would succeed. He did not expect that he would reach the Great Emperor realm without dual cultivating with the 2 women. However, the current situation was unexpected. If he had known, he would have dual cultivated with the 2 women. How could he have so much time now? Zi Tian and Tian Dao. No, it should be Xiong Shi and Mo Tianquang would not given the chance to dual cultivate with the 2 women. I don't have that much time now, Yang Hongwu said. I can buy you some time. Moreover, the 2 of them have not decided who is stronger, so you are safe for the time being. As long as you enter the life seal, you will have enough time. Although the 2 of them are very strong, they are not here in person. They are only here with their consciousness. Even if they decide who is stronger, they will suffer great losses. It will be very difficult for them to break the life seal and catch you in a short time. Moreover, with my help, it will not be a problem to delay them for a few days, Scherbauer said. That is the only way. Yang Hongwu nodded. There was no other way now. The 2 of them were too strong. They had surpassed the Tai true God realm. Terrifying to terrifying. Maybe the 2 of them had already reached the level of a mortal real god. An expert of that level was already far beyond his imagination. However, didn't Bai Qi say that he had received the favor of a super expert? Could it be that the 2 of them were stronger than that super expert? Did they not put him in their eyes? All of this was just Yang Hongwu's thoughts. He knew very well that it would be difficult for him to grow by relying on others. Moreover, they were unreliable. If a person wanted to grow and become a real expert, he had to rely on himself. Only he could rely on himself. Others could never be relied on. Go in. There's not much time left. Don't waste any more time, Scherbauer said. Yang Hongwu nodded. He waved his hand, and the life seal appeared. Yang Hongwu instantly entered the life seal and entered the life domain. The common people's God domain was a part of the true God domain. However, the common people's God domain was separated from the true God domain. The common people's God domain had no contact with the true God domain. However, in reality, there was still a mysterious connection between the common people's God domain and the true God domain. There was an unknown power involved in this mysterious connection. Yang Hongwu's current strength was far from enough. He had not truly grasped the life seal. Therefore, he could not feel the connection between them. That kid has entered the life seal. This space had been sealed off by the 2 of them using their powerful magic. As a result, even if Yang Hongwu entered the Life Grand Seal, he wouldn't be able to escape. The Life Grand Seal was still in this space. If it were any other ordinary martial artists, even if they were great emperors or Tai true gods, they wouldn't be able to notice it. However, to Mo Tianquang and Xiong Shi, even if the life seal was very small, they would still be able to see it, unless the life seal pierced through the void and escaped. However, in front of these 2 experts, how could it escape so easily? Unless the weapon spirit of the common life Grand Seal awakened, it was impossible. Moreover, the power of the common life Grand Seal had yet to recover. If it recovered, how strong would it be? Then, Xiong Shi pushed Mo Tianquang away. He extended his hand and grabbed at the life seal. He wanted to grab the life seal. However, how could Mo Tianquang let him do as he wished? He harumphed coldly and threw out a punch. Vast power, like a raging tsunami, rushed over. It was mighty and unstoppable. Xiongshi had no choice but to give up on grabbing the life seal. He turned around to block the terrifying attack. At that moment, Yang Hanwu had already entered the life seal. Yang Hanwu could not completely control the life seal. However, he could still mobilize a little bit of its power. Just a little bit. Yang Hanwu moved his mind and summoned by Yiran and Xianming out. Xianming, we are now in great danger. Yang Hanwu smiled bitterly. This time, we have no choice but to ask for your help. We know. Xianming nodded. You don't have to say much. Actually, we have been together for so long. We already know that this is fate's arrangement. That's right. Bai Yiran nodded. Sister Xianming is right. Our fates are already connected. We can't be separated from each other. Actually, we have already made preparations. Xianming said. This is because I have not given you a status yet. Yang Hongwu's tone was very apologetic, and his heart was filled with guilt. You are all proud daughters of the heavens, but I can't give you a complete feeling, a complete love. You don't have to feel guilty. We are cultivators, and we don't care so much. Moreover, our lifespan is almost endless. In that endless years, if there are only two people accompanying each other, how lonely would that be? It would be better to have more sisters. It would be livelier. Xianming said when she heard Yang Hongwu's words. Yang Hongwu knew that the two ladies must be feeling uncomfortable. After all, they were women. They were just comforting him. However, Yang Hongwu did not say more. He made up his mind to treat them well in the future. He must make them happy and not let them suffer any grievances. We don't have much time. Let's start. Xianming blushed when she said this. Although she was usually cold and arrogant and never blushed, she was still a woman. It was inevitable that she would feel shy in front of this kind of thing. Okay. Bai Yiran also nodded and replied softly. Bai Yiran's character was very similar to Xianming's. They were both cold. However, after meeting Yang Hongwu, they changed. After all, they were attracted to each other because of Yang Hongwu's battle constitution. Yang Hongwu's heartbeat accelerated when he saw their expressions. Chapter 11-12. Breakthrough, disaster, boom. Heaven and earth shook violently, and a terrifying aura burst out. Mo Tianquang and Xiongshi's faces changed, and they stopped fighting. The life seal underwent a huge change. A figure appeared out of nowhere and held the life seal with his right hand. This person was mighty and domineering. He was like a god that had descended. Auspicious clouds surrounded him, and 9 dragons roared behind him. Yang Hongwu, this kid's cultivation has broken through. Mo Tianquang and Xiongshi did not expect that Yang Hongwu would make a breakthrough at this time. Moreover, his strength had undergone a huge change compared to before. It was like one was in the sky while the other was on the ground. It was shocking. Such a speed of cultivation was too shocking. If the previous Yang Hongwu was a child, then the current Yang Hongwu's strength was that of an adult man. The gap between them wasn't small. I don't care if you are the heaven's path of 9 heavens and 10 earths or Zetion. Now get lost. Get out of my territory. I am a master of 9 heavens and 10 earths now. Yang Hongwu looked at the two of them and said coldly. Through the dual cultivation with Xianming and Bai Yiran, his strength had increased tremendously and he had undergone a fundamental change. The hidden injuries in his body had been removed and his strength had increased tremendously. Most importantly, the entire 9 heavens and 10 earths had been refined and became Yang Hongwu's inner world. The original inner world, namely the little evil demon world, sorcerer world, and others, had been completely integrated. Yang Hongwu's strength was like heaven and earth compared to before. They could not be mentioned in the same breath. Although Yang Hongwu had yet to break through to the level of a primordial unity true god, his fighting power had definitely surpassed that of a primordial unity true god. At this moment, he finally knew how terrifying the Tai true god level was. Previously, those guys had entered 9 heavens and 10 earths. If it wasn't for the fact that their cultivation was suppressed, he reckoned that he would have been turned into ashes. The 9 heavens divine dragon skill was a great item, and it was extremely powerful. He could truly summon the 9 heavens divine dragons to do battle. The 9 heavens divine dragons were supreme existences. Any one of them was a noble and powerful existence. If the 9 divine dragons appeared at the same time, they would be able to conquer a great universe and break through the great Tao of the void. Of course, Yang Hongwu had only just started cultivating the 9 heavens divine dragon technique. He couldn't summon the true body of the 9 heavens divine dragon, not even one. Reaching the first level of the 9 heavens divine dragon technique meant that one could summon a divine dragon or borrow its power. Yang Hongwu was still far from that level. However, there was one thing that Yang Hongwu was certain of. These two people were very powerful, and these were not their true bodies. As for whether these two people were the Zi Tian and the heavenly Tao of the Jotian Shidi, he was still unsure. However, the problem now was to chase these two guys out of this place. The Jotian Shidi was now in his inner world. If he couldn't chase these two guys out, it would be very dangerous for Yang Hongwu. It was like a ticking time bomb being installed in an ordinary person's body. Or rather, a foreign object in the body would cause discomfort and all sorts of illnesses. Therefore, this hidden danger had to be eliminated. Of course, if these two people weren't strong enough, Yang Hongwu could use the power of his inner world to suppress, kill, and devour them. It was like digesting something after eating it. However, these two guys were too strong. There was no way to suppress them. They had already exceeded the limits of Yang Hongwu's inner world. It was impossible to suppress or kill them. It was like swallowing something like a rock. Moreover, this rock was very precious, but there was no way to digest it. The only way was to take it out. Kid, you're too confident. Although your strength has made a huge breakthrough, you're still far from it. As he spoke, Mo Tianquan unleashed a powerful aura. You have yet to recover. If you had unlocked the memories of your past life and unleashed your original cultivation, I might be wary of you. However, even if you have made a breakthrough now, you won't be able to withstand a single blow. As he spoke, Mo Tianquan unleashed a terrifying power. This power turned into a terrifying saber. This saber seemed to be able to cut through the heavens and earth and destroy the stars in the universe. Yang Hongwu snorted coldly. The life seal in his hand let out a dazzling light. One thought of life. A vast power burst out from the common people's great seal. This was the power of the common people's divine realm. The power of billions of living beings burst out at the same time, condensing into a terrifying power and blasting out. This powerful power condensed into a single point and collided with the battle blade. Boom! With a loud sound, this terrifying power exploded, as though it was going to shatter the heavens and earth. The void shattered, forming terrifying cracks in the void. The appearance of these cracks wasn't where the true danger was. The true danger was a terrifying, destructive windstorm. When Mo Tianquan and Xiong Shi saw the destructive windstorm, their faces changed. Damn it, Mo Tianquan. Look at what you've done. Xiong Shi was infuriated. His aura surged crazily, reaching a terrifying limit. At this moment, Yang Hongwu had refined the origin of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. He had merged his own inner world with the 9 heavens and 10 earths, turning the entire 9 heavens and 10 earths into his own inner world. Now, the 9 heavens and 10 earths have been shattered by a powerful force and even attracted a destructive windstorm. This terrifying windstorm had destroyed the 9 heavens and 10 earths. It was extremely terrifying. Yang Hongwu could feel the terrifying impact of the energy. He felt as though he was going to collapse. His body couldn't withstand it and was going to be destroyed. In fact, Yang Hongwu could feel that his soul was going to be destroyed as well. While his consciousness was still clear, Yang Hongwu hurriedly sent all the girls into the life seal and into the life domain. After sending all the girls in, Yang Hongwu used his last bit of strength to struggle into the world of the life seal. Next, with a loud sound, the destructive windstorm arrived. The entire universe collapsed. The 9 heavens and 10 earths were completely destroyed and turned into nothingness. Next, the life seal exploded with a powerful force. The entire life seal was like a sun, illuminating everything. A gigantic vortex burst out from the life seal. This gigantic vortex sucked all the living beings in the 9 heavens and 10 earths into the life seal. Chapter 11:13. Gray Cloud Town. The common people's continent was vast and boundless. On the continent, there were countless experts and forces. Among them, the common people's divine palace was the most powerful. The common people's divine palace was the holy land that all cultivators in the common people's continent yearned for. On this day, the blue sky was clear and cloudless. Suddenly, dark clouds covered the sky and a huge crack appeared in the void. Thunder and lightning intersected. A golden light suddenly exploded and scattered in all directions, disappearing without a trace. Gray Cloud Town was a nameless town in the common people's continent. In a small courtyard in a small town, Yang Hongwu opened his eyes and looked around with a wry smile. At this moment, his situation had changed dramatically. His original cultivation was gone, and the strength of his body seemed to have disappeared. Even his battle constitution had changed. Without the 9-dragon saint body, he had nothing left. Start all over again? I wonder how they are now. Yang Hongwu only remembered that after he sent the girls into the common people's god domain, before he could enter the common people's god domain, there was a huge explosion. At the last moment of the explosion, he felt himself being sent into the common people's god domain by a powerful force. As for the specific situation, he did not know. As for where he was, he did not know. He could only take one step at a time. The first thing he did after waking up was to communicate with the common people's seal. However, he could not do so. Next, he checked his own situation. However, what made Yang Hongwu feel helpless was that his body was in a terrible state. It was as if he had returned to his original state. Moreover, it was worse than he had expected. His cultivation was gone, and so was his 9-dragon saint body. His current physical body could only be described with one word: ordinary. Extremely ordinary. There were many people with such aptitude in the ancient desolate continent. As for the aura of the 9 heavens divine dragon technique, it had disappeared, not to mention summoning the 9 heavens divine dragon. You're awake. While Yang Hongwu was thinking, the door was pushed open and a middle-aged man walked in. This man was wearing animal skin and had a rough face and firm muscles. He looked very strong. His body was covered with scars, which added a bit of wild charm to this man. Yang Hongwu felt a wave of pressure from him. However, Yang Hongwu knew very well that this middle-aged man was actually not very powerful. After all, Yang Hongwu had once cultivated and reached the martial monarch realm. On the other hand, the man in front of him was at most in the mortal realm. His strength had not even reached the Qi refining realm. Falling from the great emperor realm to such a level, Yang Hongwu was truly depressed. It would be great if he could contact Sherbauer or communicate with the spirit of the life seal. But now, he couldn't even communicate with the battle spirit, let alone Sherbauer or the life seal. Are you the one who saved me? Yang Hongwu looked at him and asked. May I ask where this place is? Yes, I'm the one who saved you. This is Gray Cloud Town, my home. I saved you in the Gray Cloud Mountain Range. At that time, you were covered in blood and your injuries were serious, so I brought you back. Thank you. My name is Yang Hongwu. May I ask for benefactor's name? Yang Hongwu asked. What name? Just call me Du Yun. I am a hunter in Gray Cloud Town. Saving you is just a small matter. However, you don't seem to have any cultivation. How did you go to the Gray Cloud Mountain Range? You should know that there are many fierce beasts in the Gray Cloud Mountain Range. Looking at you, you seem to be a scholar without any strength. It is very dangerous to go to the Gray Cloud Mountain Range. Du Yun said. Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly and said, I also lost my way and entered the Gray Cloud Mountain Range inexplicably. There were some things that Yang Hongwu didn't want to say, so he didn't explain. How about this? You should recuperate from your injuries and leave after a few days. Du Yun said. Thank you, big brother. Du. Yang Hongwu bowed and said, recuperate well. That's right, you don't seem to have cultivated. This won't do. In the Gray Cloud Mountain Range, if you don't cultivate, it will be difficult to move around. Here is a cultivation technique. You should cultivate it well. It will be of great help to your recovery. As he said that, Duyin took out a yellowed ancient book from a simple box and handed it to Yang Hongwu. This made Yang Hongwu very moved. He wasn't familiar with Duyin at all. It could be said that they were strangers. Duyin didn't know him at all, but he actually gave him a cultivation technique. Moreover, looking at his careful manner, it was enough to prove how precious this cultivation technique was in his eyes. However, he gave this cultivation technique to him, a complete stranger. The hearts of the people here were really simple and kind. In the past, Yang Hongwu had seen so many schemes and schemes. Now that he saw this scene, Yang Hongwu's heart was filled with emotions. This is the gray cloud art. It is a cultivation technique passed down from my ancestors. You should study it well. If you can comprehend it, it would be best. Du Yun said, Big brother Du, this is not appropriate. This is a cultivation technique passed down from your ancestors. How can I cultivate it? Yang Hongwu hurriedly refused. To Yang Hongwu, the cultivation techniques that he knew were countless. Moreover, they were all very powerful and very high level. How could he be interested in an unknown cultivation technique in a small town? Moreover, this cultivation technique was very important to Du Yun. He was just an outsider. Little Wu, you don't have to be like this. The Azure Cloud skill is not a secret in Gray Cloud Town. Everyone knows about it and practices it. It is the entry-level skill of Gray Cloud Town, and everyone knows about it. It is just that this skill book is the original version. It is the most original version passed down from my ancestors. It is said that there is a huge secret in the Azure Cloud skill, but for so many years, no one has been able to find it. Therefore, as time passed, people did not care about the Azure Cloud skill and only regarded it as a foundation-building skill. Even for some rich people and some rich people, this Azure Cloud skill is not even worth their attention. Therefore, you don't have to refuse. I don't have any powerful skills, so if you practice this Azure Cloud skill, it will be very good. Even if you cannot become a warrior, it can still strengthen your body. Hearing Du Yun's words, Yang Hongwu was relieved. Then it would be impolite for me to refuse. Yang Hongwu carefully received the cultivation technique and said gratefully, You rest well. I have to go hunting. After saying that, Du Yun turned and left the house. Chapter 11:14. Ashen Cloud, Godly Formula. Ashen Cloud, Godly Formula. A vast amount of information entered Yang Hongwu's mind. This vast amount of information shocked Yang Hongwu to no end. This Ashen Cloud, Godly Formula was not as simple as it seemed. It was not an ordinary foundation establishment skill, but an extremely powerful, godly formula. Moreover, this skill was extremely mysterious. Although it could not be compared to the Nine Heavens Godly Dragon formula, it was still an extremely powerful skill. As for the Nine Heavens Godly Dragon formula, Yang Hongwu had already tried it, but he was unable to cultivate it. The requirements to cultivate the Nine Heavens Godly Dragon formula were extremely harsh. Most importantly, it required Dragon Chi. Now that Yang Hongwu wanted to cultivate the Nine Heavens Godly Dragon formula, how could he obtain Dragon Chi? Furthermore, that dragon aura was no ordinary dragon aura. It was the aura of a true dragon. Therefore, it was temporarily impossible for Yang Hongwu to cultivate the Nine Heavens Godly Dragon formula. However, the Ashen Cloud Godly formula was the most suitable skill for Yang Hongwu. It was as if it was tailor-made for him. Unknowingly, Yang Hongwu had absorbed all of the golden words. His strength gradually increased. First Chi Realm. Second Chi Realm. His cultivation level increased at an astonishing speed. It only stopped when he reached the Ninth Chi Realm. Yang Hongwu opened his eyes. At this moment, his injuries were completely healed. He punched out, and only a muffled sound could be heard. The air was instantly torn apart, and a chair far away exploded into pieces. Although the difference between his physical body and the Nine Dragons' saint body was like heaven and earth, Yang Hongwu was still satisfied. After all, his physical body was very ordinary. With the help of the Ashen Cloud Godly formula, he was able to cultivate to such a level in such a short period of time. It was already very rare. Although his physical body was very weak, Yang Hongwu was confident that he could raise his cultivation level. Once again, he stood at the peak. It was only a matter of time before he broke through to the great Emperor realm. Yang Hongwu could faintly feel that breaking through to the Tai real god realm, or even stepping into the realm above the Tai real god realm, wasn't something that could be done by relying on one's physical body alone. It required a special realm and special comprehension. This realm and the comprehension contained within it were extremely mysterious, hard to grasp, and hard to comprehend. This was like a layer of window paper that was difficult to pierce through. Although it was only a thin layer, the gap between them was like the difference between heaven and earth. It was like the difference between heaven and earth, cloud and mud. After sending out this punch, Yang Hongwu felt comfortable all over. Yang Hongwu realized that his physical body wasn't that simple. Although it looked ordinary, the minute details of his physical body were like tiny worlds. It was just a feeling. It was a pity that his dragon soul, primordial spirit, and even mental strength had been greatly consumed in the explosion. Currently, it was less than 1/10,000th of his peak state. It was difficult to explore the minute details of his physical body. When Yang Hongwu pushed open the door, he saw Du Yun stumbling in with blood all over his body. "Big brother Du, what's wrong?" Yang Hongwu asked hastily. "It's not good. For some reason, the beasts in the depths of the Ashen Cloud Mountain started a riot. Our Ashen Cloud town is the first to bear the brunt. The Ashen Cloud protectors can't hold them off. We have to retreat immediately and leave this place. Otherwise, it will be too late." Du Yun said, "Xiao Wu, pack up quickly and leave with me." "Beast riot?" Yang Hongwu's eyes shot out a ray of cold light and said, "How strong are the beasts?" "You, Xiao Wu, your cultivation?" At this moment, Du Yun finally reacted. When he saved Yang Hongwu, he realized that Yang Hongwu's body didn't have a trace of cultivation. But now, he realized that he couldn't see through Yang Hongwu. His aura was the same as the captain of the Ashen Cloud Protectors, Lin Yong, giving him great pressure. Could it be that Du Yun was originally an expert with the same strength as the captain of the Ashen Cloud Protectors, a 9th level Qi Realm expert? This is all thanks to Big Brother Du's Ashen Cloud art. It allowed me to cultivate all the way to the 9th level of the Qi Realm. But it's a pity that the Ashen Cloud art book has turned into ashes. Yang Hongwu looked at Du Yun apologetically. After all, he had destroyed Du Yun's ancestral treasure. "You have comprehended the secret of the Ashen Cloud art." Du Yun wasn't angry when he heard this. Instead, he was overjoyed. He excitedly grabbed Yang Hongwu's hand and said, "This is great. This is great. Our Ashen Cloud town is saved." Looking at Du Yun's incoherent speech, Yang Hongwu said, "Big brother Du, don't get too excited. The most important thing for us now is to protect Ashen Cloud Town." "That's right, Xiao Wu. You are now an expert at the 9th level of the Qi Realm. You can join forces with Captain Lin Yong to kill the Beast King. As long as we kill the Beast King, Ashen Cloud Town will be saved." Du Yun said, "Come with me. Let's go find Captain Lin Yong." Not long after, Yang Hongwu and Du Yun arrived at the front line. Yang Hongwu saw a group of people desperately defending against the attacks of ferocious beasts. There were wolves, tigers, and the most ferocious of them all was a two-headed wolf. This two-headed wolf was extremely huge, at least 2 meters tall. Its sharp claws and fangs were like sharp blades. Anyone who came into contact with it would either die or be severely injured. Only one person was able to hold it off. That person was wearing a black armor and wielding a war blade. He was panting and his body was covered in blood. It was obvious that he was injured. On the other hand, the two-headed wolf was still full of energy and ferocious. Pouncing, biting, and leaping, it displayed great strength. What a beast! Yang Hongwu's eyes flashed with fighting spirit. This two-headed wolf seemed to be the beast king of this pack of ferocious beasts. Just like the savage beasts of the ancient desolate continent, this two-headed wolf's strength was enough to fight against an ordinary true Qi realm warrior. This Lin Yong was also very strong. With the protection of his armor and his cultivation at the 9th level of the Qi realm, he was able to fight this two-headed wolf for so long. It was not easy. Let me do it. Yang Hongwu roared and charged forward with his bare hands. He condensed his energy into his fists and used the Arhut worships the mountain right from the start. This move was a very ordinary fist technique called the Arhut fist. On Earth, it was a very ordinary fist technique without any fancy moves. However, when Yang Hongwu used it, it was incomparably mysterious. Great skill appeared clumsy, and this was the logic behind the saying, great skill does not require skill. The fist was strong and powerful, and it landed heavily on the two-headed wolf. The huge two-headed wolf was actually pushed back by Yang Hongwu's fist. This scene made Lin Yong dumbstruck. Chapter 11:15. Boom! Roar! The two-headed wolf was forced back. It let out a furious roar. This weak human actually dared to provoke it. The furious two-headed wolf's eyes flashed with a cold light. It opened its mouth, revealing its sharp teeth. After stabilizing its body, it pounced at Yang Hongwu. Its speed was extremely fast, like a bolt of lightning. Be careful! Seeing this, Lin Yong's expression changed. As the beast king of this pack of beasts, the double-headed wolf's strength was relatively strong. It was even stronger than the average true energy realm expert. Lin Yong himself had long since made preparations to fight to the death. He wanted to buy some time for the people of Gray Cloud Town to escape safely. Yang Hongwu's appearance surprised him. Of course, it also gave him a chance to survive. Of course, he didn't want Yang Hongwu to be killed by the two-headed wolf. Although Yang Hongwu was strong, he knew that Yang Hongwu was only in the mortal realm. Like him, they were only at the 9th level of the mortal realm. If they joined forces, they might have a chance to kill the Beast King. Once the Beast King was killed, Gray Cloud Town would be saved, and they would be able to survive. Therefore, if Yang Hongwu was killed at this time, they would have no hope. After all, Yang Hongwu was once a great Emperor Realm cultivator, and had experienced countless battles of life and death. This was merely a two-headed wolf. Even if it could contend against a true energy realm cultivator, in his eyes, it was nothing. Although it seemed incomparably dangerous, he didn't take it to heart, neither fast nor slow. The two-headed wolf's sharp teeth were about to bite Yang Hongwu's neck. At this moment, Yang Hongwu moved. He was as quiet as a virgin, but as agile as a rabbit. In the blink of an eye, Yang Hongwu threw out a punch. Surging killing intent condensed on both of his fists. The terrifying killing intent seemed to have frozen the air. The two-headed wolf's movement paused in front of Yang Hongwu's terrifying killing intent. 10-direction killing fist. This was the all-directional killing fist. Even though Yang Hongwu's cultivation, magical power, and mental power were greatly reduced, his murderous aura was still very terrifying. Yang Hongwu grew up in the ancient Desolation continent. From the mortal realm to the great Emperor realm, although it was only a short period of 100 years, his killing intent was extremely terrifying. Every expert grew up by stepping on mountains of corpses and seas of bones. Yang Hongwu was no exception. His spiritual power was gone, his spiritual power had dropped, and his cultivation had dropped. However, his murderous aura was still there. The murderous aura that Yang Hongwu was exuding now was only 1% of his peak. Even so, it was still very terrifying. Killing intent, like a dragon, ferocious. Killing intent was like a blade. Each blade, die. Yang Hongwu roared and punched out. His killing intent crashed into the two-headed wolf's head. Bang! With a crisp sound, one of the two-headed wolf's heads was smashed like a watermelon. Blood splattered and dyed the entire area red. Seeing this scene, Lin Yong, who was originally very worried, was shocked to the extreme. The one who was even more shocked was Du Yun. He never would have thought that the person he casually saved would actually be so powerful and have such shocking combat strength. Could it be that he was a true Qi realm expert? Or even an existence that surpassed the true Qi realm? However, no matter what, he had defeated the Beast Kings. This also meant that the Gray Cloud Town was saved. The Gray Cloud Town was their home for generations. No one was willing to leave because of this. There were even many old people who were willing to die under the ferocious beast rather than leave the gray cloud town, their home. The two-headed wolf's head was smashed by Yang Hongwu. It immediately knew how terrifying Yang Hongwu was. It could become a beast king, of course. It had a certain level of intelligence. This person was so terrifying that he was strong enough to kill it. If it continued, it would definitely die in his hands. Therefore, it instantly made a decision to escape. Want to escape? Can you escape? Yang Hongwu saw that the two-headed wolf wanted to escape. How could he let leave like this? His eyes emitted a cold light. Wind gathered under his feet, and like a sharp arrow, he instantly shot out. Following that, he fiercely threw out a punch. The strength of the punch was like a mountain bombarding out. This punch was even more powerful, even more domineering, and even more powerful. Bang! With a loud sound, this punch heavily landed on the two-headed wolf's huge body. The two-headed wolf's huge body was directly pierced through by this punch. Its huge body fell to the ground with a loud bang. The crowd immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. This punch was terrifying. His strength was too strong. What kind of strength was this? He actually killed the two-headed wolf with a single punch. Not only that, after the fist energy pierced through the two-headed wolf's body, it also broke a big tree behind it. This kind of cultivation was really shocking. It was hard to imagine. After the two-headed wolf was killed, the other ferocious beasts fled one after another. There was no longer a situation where they were crazily attacking like before. On the other hand, on the human side, everyone's aura was like a dragon. In an instant, all of them exploded with powerful fighting strength. Xiao Wu no, young Master Yang, this time, thank you very much. Du Yun, who regained his senses, hurriedly said to Yang Hongwu. His tone was very grateful, but it was different from before. In Du Yun's eyes, it was filled with respect and gratitude. This made Yang Hongwu a little uncomfortable. Du Yun was a savior, but he was so respectful to him. This was something that Yang Hongwu did not want to see. Big brother Du, you don't have to be like this. You are my savior. How can I accept this? Yang Hongwu hurriedly said. No, you can't say it like that. I saved you just because it was convenient. Moreover, with your cultivation, even without my help, you can still recover. Du Yun said, you are the one who has done us a great favor. You saved the entire gray cloud town. If it wasn't for you, I'm afraid that we would all die here. Yes, young Master Yang, you are the savior of the entire gray cloud town. I am here, representing the entire gray cloud town, to express our gratitude to you. Lin Yong also respectfully bowed to Yang Hongwu. This was his gratitude to his savior, and also his respect to the strong. The people of Gray Cloud Town also bowed one after another. Chapter 11:16. The qualification of the sect of the Ether after the beasts were driven away. The Gray Cloud Town did not return to its former tranquility. Instead, people began to rebuild the town. For a better life, men and women, old and young, all began to work. Everyone was busy. The only one who was leisurely was Yang Hongwu. He had nothing else to do at all. Every day, he just walked around and practiced the Dark Cloud Divine Skill. Of course, the most important thing was that Yang Hongwu wanted to practice his original techniques, such as the Nine Heavens Divine Dragon Technique and the Immortal Dragon Body. However, the result of the experiment made Yang Hongwu feel very helpless. He had no way to practice these techniques. It seemed that his current physical body was already cut off from him. Of course, he could practice the Mind-Refining Sutra and the Kill Fist. For Yang Hongwu, the Mind-Refining Sutra could restore his spiritual power, and the power of the Kill Fist would increase day by day. After only a few days of practice, Yang Hongwu's cultivation had reached the peak of the Qi realm. He was only one step away from the Qi realm and directly into the realm of true Qi. For Yang Hongwu, who had reached the Emperor realm, it was easy to break through this threshold. However, Yang Hongwu did not want to break through so quickly. He wanted to lay a good foundation. Moreover, Yang Hongwu had a feeling that the more solid the foundation in the Qi realm was, the more helpful it would be for him to practice the Gray Cloud skill. Yang Hongwu faintly felt that there was a special power in the gray cloud skill. There was a force in the unseen world that was pulling him to practice the gray cloud skill. Although Yang Hongwu did not like the feeling of being led by the nose, there was no other way. Because practicing the gray cloud skill here would make Yang Hongwu's strength improve faster and his foundation become more solid. Another thing was that there was a voice in the unseen world that told him that if he wanted to break through this space and see Yu and the other girls again, he must practice the gray cloud skill to the extreme and reach the peak of this world. Only then would he have the chance to see them again. In either case, Yang Hongwu had no choice but to practice the Tsungyun divine formula. Little Wu, let me tell you some good news. While Yang Hongwu was cultivating, Lin Yong pushed open the door and walked in with an excited look on his face. Big brother Lin, what made you so happy? Yang Hongwu looked at Lin Yong and said. Lin Yong's aptitude was not outstanding, but he had a kind of perseverance. This kind of perseverance was something that ordinary people lacked. Therefore, Yang Hongwu was very optimistic about Lin Yong's future. What Lin Yong lacked now was a kind of opportunity and a suitable cultivation method. It's the sect of the ether that has started to collect the money. We, the Gray Cloud Town, have a recommendation quota, and we have decided to give it to you, Lin Yong said. The sect of the ether. Yang Hongwu was not unfamiliar with this name. The sect of the ether was a powerful sect. In the eyes of the people in the Gray Cloud Town, it was very mysterious and powerful. If one could enter the sect of the ether, he or she would definitely become an immortal. However, for people like Lin Yong, entering the sect of the ether was a kind of supreme glory. But for Yang Hongwu, it was not the same. It was just a sect. Yang Hongwu had seen countless powerful forces. Even he himself was an existence that could destroy a world at will. How could a mere sect enter his eyes? However, now, after all, his cultivation had not recovered and his strength was still very weak. Even if he looked down on the sect of the ether, he had to admit that if he could enter the sect of the ether, it would be of great help to him. After all, there were countless resources in the sect of the ether. If he had to find the resources to improve his cultivation, it would be more difficult. For Yang Hongwu, such a qualification to enter the sect of the ether was not a big deal. But for Lin Yong and the others, it was an opportunity to reach the sky in one step. It was very rare. It was imaginable that it was like a mortal becoming an immortal in one step. Yang Hongwu was very shocked that Lin Yong and the others were willing to give such an opportunity to him. Brother Lin, this is something that everyone in the Gray Cloud Town has been waiting for a long time. Even you have been waiting for it for countless years, Yang Hongwu said. The entrance examination of the sect of the ether was not held once a year, but once every 10 years. Moreover, the quota was very limited. When the examination was about to begin, countless people would fight for the opportunity to enter the sect of the ether. No need. We don't have any outstanding young people in the Gray Cloud Town. It would be a waste to give this opportunity to us. It's better to give it to you. Moreover, you are the savior of the entire Gray Cloud Town. If we give this opportunity to you, no one will object and no one will say anything, Lin Yong said. What Lin Yong said was true. Although the Gray Cloud Town was very united, if such a quota was not used properly, it could be a great danger to the town. Just as the two of them were discussing, the sound of hurried footsteps could be heard. Captain Lin, something bad has happened, a guard of the Gray Cloud Town said. What's the matter? Why are you in such a hurry? Lin Yong frowned and looked at him with some dissatisfaction. Brother Lin, don't be angry. Maybe this brother really has something urgent? Let's listen to what happened that made him so anxious, Yang Hongwu said when he saw Lin Yong scolding him. The guard looked at Yang Hongwu gratefully and said, Brother Lin, Master Yang, this is what happened. When we were patrolling, a group of people came. They said that they were from the Chiu family of the Yinyan County. This time, they came here for the qualification to enter the sect of the ether in the Gray Cloud Town. Moreover, they were very arrogant and had already injured a few of our brothers. What? You said that they were from the Yinyan County? Lin Yong's face changed slightly. As a guard of the Gray Cloud Town, he had seen a lot. The Yinyan County was a big county, which was far from a small place like the Gray Cloud Town. Furthermore, The Chiu family was one of the three big families in the Yin County. They were very powerful. It was said that there was someone who had surpassed the genuine Qi realm in the Chiu family. What did it mean to have someone who had surpassed the genuine Qi realm? Lin Yong knew very well that a strong person in the genuine Qi realm was enough to destroy the entire Gray Cloud Town. Chapter 11:17. Murderous intent surging. What should we do? Lin Yong was very anxious. The Chiu family was a powerful family. No one in the Gray Cloud Town could resist them, not even Yang Hongwu. Little Wu, take this token and get out of here quickly. This token is the qualification for the Gray Cloud Town to take the entrance examination of the Sect of the Ether. With this token, you can take part in the entrance examination of the Sect of the Ether. Lin Yong said as he shoved the token into Yang Hongwu's hand and pushed him out of the door. Brother Lin, I can't do that. If I leave with this token, the Gray Cloud Town will suffer. The Chiu family of the Yin County is not a kind family. I can't just watch the Gray Cloud Town fall into their evil hands. Yang Hongwu said, No, they won't dare. Lin Yong said, There's nothing they won't dare to do. Yang Hongwu said coldly, Brother Lin, don't you think that the riot of the beasts in the Gray Cloud Mountain is a bit strange? Why is it that the beasts in the Tsangyin Mountain Range haven't shown any abnormalities for so many years, but at this time there was a riot? Moreover, the rioting beasts were just some ordinary beasts in the periphery. There weren't any powerful demonic beasts. Logically speaking, in the history of the Tsangyin continent, every time there was a riot, there would be demonic beasts. Moreover, it would be a large-scale riot. It would never be a simple riot in a small area. What's more strange is that after the riot was quelled, the Chiu family of Yin County arrived. Isn't this too much of a coincidence? This can't be, right? If the Sect of the Ether knew that someone used this method to snatch the entrance examination, the consequences would be unimaginable. Lin Yong said, Brother Lin, you think too much. In the path of cultivation, the weak are prey to the strong. This is nothing. The Sect of the Ether won't care about the entrance examination. They just need to select the right disciples. As for the qualification used to obtain the entrance examination token, they won't care too much. Yang Hongwu said, For this kind of thing, Yang Hongwu had seen too many, so he was not surprised. Since this is the Chiu clan's plot, then we cannot give this examination opportunity to them. Little Wu, you should quickly leave. You're not from our Gray Cloud Town, and they will not be able to find you. If something really happens to our Gray Cloud Town, you can help us get rid of the Chiu clan in the future. Also, some of the younger members of our Gray Cloud Town will also leave with you. I hope that you can take good care of them. After saying that, Lin Yong ordered people to leave. Yang Hongwu said, Big Brother Lin, don't worry. Since the Chiu family is so aggressive, they must be prepared. How can they give us a chance to leave? If my guess is right, the whole Gray Cloud Town has been surrounded. We have been blocked, and there is no way out. Therefore, even if we want to leave, it is impossible. The Chiu family is determined to get the qualification to enter the Sect of the Ether. They will not make such a mistake. So, if we don't give up the qualification, the Gray Cloud Town will cease to exist. Lin Yong's face darkened. Do we have to give up the token? No. Even if we give up the qualification, the Chiu clan will not give up easily. They will not let us go. Yang Hongwu shook his head and sighed. In the eyes of some big clans, the lives of people in a small town were nothing. If the news was leaked out, then it would be a big deal. Then what should we do? Lin Yong was able to become the captain of the Gray Cloud Protectors, so he was aware of some things. After all, he had a bit of knowledge, which was far from what an ordinary person could compare with. Therefore, he could also see that Yang Hongwu was not an ordinary person. What he said was indeed true. The Chiu clan had already made such a big fuss over the qualification to enter the Sect of the Ether. It must not be so simple. Is there no other way? Lin Yong murmured. Don't worry. Take me to see the people of the Chiu clan. I don't put a mere Chiu clan in my eyes. Yang Hongwu's eyes burst out a terrifying cold light. Although his cultivation had fallen and was far from recovering, it was not something that a small clan could bully. True Qi realm. So what if they were in the true Qi realm? Although he had not recovered, he could still kill them. True Qi realm warriors in front of Lin Yong and the others, maybe high and mighty, as unattainable as the emperor. However, in Yang Hongwu's eyes, it was just the same. It was only the true Qi realm. If he wanted to, he could break through at any time. However, Yang Hongwu wanted to lay a solid foundation for himself. After all, he was a person who had cultivated once, so he deeply understood that the physical body was the foundation. For any warrior, only a strong enough physical body could withstand a strong force. The physical body was like a big vat, and the cultivation was like the water in the vat. Only when the vat was big enough could it hold more water. Therefore, Yang Hongwu was not in a hurry to break through. Instead, he wanted to temper his physical body. This physical body was recondensed, but compared to the previous one, it was much weaker. However, this also gave Yang Hongwu a chance. This seemingly ordinary and weak physical body had great potential. It could be continuously tempered, and it could even surpass the previous physical body. This is the only way. If there's really no other way, then Little Wu, you take Little Song and the others and leave this place. We old guys will fight it out with them. Lin Yong said, and a fierce, murderous aura erupted from his body. Don't worry, things have not reached that stage yet. Yang Hongwu said with a faint smile, I said before that I will protect everyone's safety. I will protect the entire gray cloud town. I will definitely do it. Soon, the group arrived at the central hall of Gray Cloud Town. Just as Yang Hongwu and the others arrived, they saw a person lying in a pool of blood. A few young Gray Cloud Town youths were glaring at the Chiu family's guards. When he saw the person lying in the pool of blood, Yang Hongwu's eyes turned red. His entire body erupted with a terrifying, murderous aura. This terrifying, murderous aura seemed to have frozen the air. The surrounding temperature dropped to the freezing point. The surrounding people could not help but shiver. Yang Hongwu's gaze was like a sharp knife. He stared at the guard who was holding a long blade in his hand. The blade was still dripping with blood. The person lying in the pool of blood was none other than Yang Hongwu's savior, Du Yun. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.